guys, welcome back to another episode of the Kit and Krysta podcast. Where are we again?
28.
28. It's not here anymore.
Big 28.
It moved down the page and then forever lost. Big 28.
Hello.
2 more till 30. Hello.
Hi.
How are you feeling today?
Great.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm excited to podcast.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad.
Casting pod. Let's go.
Casting the pod.
Yeah.
Let's go. We are going to be telling you about what changes Nintendo needs to make right now to make a better environment for these poor people that love the company and work there, but are having a very difficult time.
I've read enough of these articles in Kotaku, other outlets. That's some of the issues that Nintendo is happening.
We've seen it as well while we were there.
We have some specific actions they should take today.
Yesterday.
To get these headed back in the right direction.
Yeah, it does not seem to be going very well right now, and it's really unfortunate for everyone, really. Thank you so much to our amazing Patreon subscribers for making all of this possible. We're actually going to be doing
all of this.
The plastic surgery.
That haircut I got 2 weeks ago. Thank you.
I was going to say that.
Plastic surgery. How dare you?
I was going to say that we were talking to our superstars this week, which is our newest Patreon tier, one of our newest Patreon tiers, about what are we doing for our Never a Minute segment. And they called it, quote, a performance review, which got me a little nervous.
Well,
made me a little nervous.
We've been doing this for almost approximately exactly 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
So it's a good time to just, look back, take inventory, see what we've done, what we think we've done well, what we think we've got some room for improvement.
So it is a performance review.
Right. I mean, I'll be reviewing you.
I see.
Certainly. I'll be giving you a grade.
A letter score?
Yeah.
At a letter score?
And then we'll just move on.
Hey.
Yeah.
A+, right? A++++.
Anything below an A, I know you're going to have it.
My mother is not going to be very happy about that. She's right downstairs.
I already told her what
She's
you're
going to be lecturing me if there's not a straight A report card.
I already gave her the report card,
that.
so if you get a dirty look afterwards, you might know why.
I'm going to be sent to bed without dinner or something. It's her favorite pastime is to lecture me about my grades, so.
I mean, you did it to yourself, but okay. Make it about her.
What?
Yeah.
If you are not a subscriber of our Patreon community yet, consider joining. It is really fun. We have 5 tiers now.
Yeah.
From our level 1 tier to our superstars tier. We have a great time with everybody. We've been really enjoying getting to know all of you a little bit better. Our Discord, again, is for Patreon subscribers only, and it has been exciting in the Discord. There's been a lot of fun conversation. There's been a lot of really great discussions, and we've been having tons of fun with everybody in Discord.
We may soon have a Patreon workout program.
True.
Which
from the one and only.
I'm very intrigued at.
Well, this person is legit can do this because he has a 6-pack.
He's jacked.
And jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a member's perk, guys.
Wow.
If anything. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, is he gonna yell slogans at me?
What?
Like, blast those abs. Master your...
Push it.
Girl. Yeah, master your biceps.
Wow.
Pump it. Is that what's going to happen to me?
I don't think so.
I'd be okay.
He's very friendly. He's very
okay
nice.
With that.
Okay.
I mean, motivation.
Great.
To get a 6-pack?
Great.
I'm in.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, consider joining because it's really, really fun. And it's patreon.com/Kit and Chris. We'll put the link right over here. Lots of cool benefits, workout programs, bonus Q&As, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. We did something really fun last week. That video is live now.
Right.
Where we attempted to get some street passes in this day and age. Why are you making that face?
Well, I mean, the video's out now. I can say the result.
Don't spoil it. What if somebody didn't watch it?
All right, I won't say it yet. But there is an important update that we need to add on to this video.
What?
So yes, we went to the mall. We looked for street passes. We also shared some stories about Street Pass, and you went on a little rant about something that you call me fraud.
Me fraud,
which is where you make a me that doesn't quite capture maybe
your true self.
Maybe you're like rounding up. It's the me equivalent of rounding up.
Oh.
I was like, well, I'm going to improve a few things. I'm not as upset about this as you are, but you went on this whole rant, and then we were going through our own me's, because there's a little information like, do you like dogs, do you like cats, that kind of thing.
Your dream or whatever.
And I looked, it says who the me is made by. My me was made by me, M-E.
Not
Your me, though.
Oh. My me was made by Bill Trinan.
Tran. Yeah. None other than Bill Trinan.
Trin-trolled.
So what does this mean about you and me fraud? Did he make a fraudulent me? Do you consider that a fraudulent me?
No, that's not a fraudulent me.
What happened
I had full creative input.
Where's your own me?
He made my me for me.
Why?
That's confusing. Because it was a friendly gesture. Why didn't you offer to make my me?
I'd like to see what me you could make for yourself.
That's pretty good, the one that he made.
Yeah. But I mean,
it looks a lot like me.
There's the intention of the me is for it to be made by you. It's getting confusing now.
Not by me?
No.
I think it's kind of fun. We actually did a video one time for Nintendo Minute where we made each other's me's with the help of
that was kind of fun,
Strawberry 17.
Right.
And it was really fun because you kind of like want to see how your friends see you as a me.
Yeah. Shockingly, that part got cut out of the video. I might need to get like final approval on these videos. I don't know what you're cutting out at the last second.
No, that part didn't get recorded. You saw that.
Oh, you're adding voice clips that I said from another video to make me look bad. What's going on here?
That's right. It's like reality show.
You're taking the shears to this thing, and I don't like it.
The cutting room floor is full of your flubs.
I mean, I look at the thing and then I give it back to you, and then something completely different comes out. What happened?
Editor's choice.
I don't know about this.
Well, maybe you can learn to edit that. You can do your own videos. Them's the choices.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, don't commit me fraud. I
don't think people are making me's these days.
Do have your friends make your me for you and see how well they know you. It's a good test.
Yes.
It's a good relationship test.
Yeah. Well, looking ahead,
we
got something really exciting planned for tomorrow.
Exactly.
You
are like pins and needles excited.
I'm elated about
You're
this.
having like your core memories unlocked tomorrow.
So
you're very into this.
Coming up in August 30th, I think it comes out.
Yes.
The Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection, which includes the original Ninja Turtles arcade game. I had one of the defining gaming experiences of my life when I was a youngster at a very specific Round Table Pizza location around here.
Yes.
And somehow this Round Table Pizza
still exists.
It's like intact in its original form. I haven't been into it, but it's still there.
How many years would you say since you've been in that Round Table?
Probably since then.
Since you were a child.
Yeah.
You've never gone back, not even in your like high school years.
I don't think so. So it's been decades.
That's crazy.
I mean, I drive by it. It's on a busy street. I drive by it frequently. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Confirmed that it's still open, still in business.
So I had this defining experience playing the Ninja Turtles arcade game in this Round Table. Tomorrow, we are returning to the Round Table to play the Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Literally decades later. Because you're old now, so it's been a long time.
And so this is interesting. You seem convinced that arcade machine is still going to be there.
I think it might be.
I don't think it is.
If that place has been in business for this long, and Round Table always has some kind of. The round tables that I've been to always have.
And then when was the last time you went to a round table?
It's been a long time.
We should say round table. I learned this like when I was in college.
It's maybe a West Coast thing.
I think it's regional. Because I went to school on the East Coast, and I would mention it to some people, and they'd look at me like, "What do you mean round table? What's this round table?"
Yeah, Round Table was like very much the place to be when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like we had, like I remember, again, bring up my mother. You can ask her later today to verify these facts. I would go to Round Table and get like a pizza after gymnastics meets. Or it was like always like a celebratory thing, like a reward, basically.
Yeah.
So I have these really fond memories of like getting these really. At the time, they were delicious. Yeah. I'm not sure if they will be now.
That was the go-to pizza in my family as well.
Yeah, it's like the go-to pizza.
Right. Now, we were originally going to film this video a little bit later, and I was starting to get worried because it's like, we're going to PAX around that same time. Are we going to be able to do this? I don't want it to come out, too late.
But we called in the biggest favor from the most
by a guardian angel.
named Chris Kohler.
I just made it. I just sent a Hail Mary message to him, to Chris Kohler.
And it was literally like seconds.
Right, who now works for the developer. I said, I just explained, it's like, is there any way I could get an early code? We have this great idea. We want to do this. And he was like, immediately, boom, I'm going to connect you with the person at Konami. And like within an hour, I had a code in hand.
Yeah. He probably was making curry at the same time as doing this too. One-handed tweeting while making
Chris
the
Kohler
curry.
is, just as I'm the Vista King, he's the curry king.
He's the curry king,
right?
For sure. Yeah, he has judged our curry.
He'll rate your curry. He'll eat your curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do it all.
Good guy to know.
Yeah, very good guy, very sweet, and thank you so much to Chris Kohler for connecting us. And now we get to film this video and have it come out on launch day.
I'm extremely excited. I don't know how I'm going to react. I mean, I might burst into tears
or something. What if you cry?
It's possible.
Yeah, you could cry. You could have one of those childhood nostalgic moments.
When we were planning this video, I was like, you need to film my face as I walk through the door of this round table.
I will.
And capture
I will capture your...
The Ratatouille-esque. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And then you can burst into tears.
Yeah.
But it should be really fun. We're gonna get your reaction.
Yes.
We're gonna see if the arcade machine is still there. I really fingers crossed.
But we're gonna play this game, which
I am
so excited. I'm so excited for this.
And we're gonna eat pizza, not the bad pizza too.
We could do a decades later roundtable pizza review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll review the game and we'll review the pizza.
Good.
How many pepperonis is this pizza gonna have? A lot. 10 out of 10 pepperonis.
Wow. Other things happening in our world.
Yes.
We've been posting some fun videos to
YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Short. Maybe you saw this on TikTok, Instagram, wherever it is.
Yeah. Wherever you see your vertical short videos.
The world of short form vertical videos is admittedly a bit of a mess right now.
It is. It's quite confusing.
But we're making them.
We're gonna do it. Though.
And we did one.
Unlock the mystery.
We did one that was 5 things we couldn't do at Nintendo. And some of them were very self-explanatory.
Yes.
Like, can't take pictures in the office. It's like, understandable. Yeah. There's like secret stuff there. I mean, they were a little more strict about it.
Yeah.
But one of there were two couple words we couldn't say.
Right.
Surprise.
Or success.
So we thought we'd just take a moment to explain these.
People have some questions about this.
Right.
Why? So let's talk about surprise first.
Right.
So this actually came about sort of in the height of there was like some Nintendo Direct, maybe it was during E3 time.
Right.
I can't really remember the exact circumstance now, but we basically got into a lot of trouble. And by we, I mean like the social media team, because we posted like a tweet or something that was like, get ready for, tune in for the next Nintendo Direct. It's going to be full of fun surprises.
Some surprises.
Yeah. 9 o'clock, roughly 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, the typical whatever.
Right.
And we got the wrist slapping of a lifetime from Japan that was like...
This is before I joined social media, so I wouldn't know. I was off scot-free.
Oh, we got the wrist slapping of a lifetime.
Oh, no.
It was bad. When you get an email in the middle of the night that you wake up to from Japan that's more than 2 paragraphs.
Why were you waking up to read your emails?
No, when you wake up in the next day and you see the email and it's more than 2 paragraphs, you know you are in for
Exclamation mark?
It's like hot.
Hot. That's always what
that was the subject line. Hot.
Yeah.
Exclamation
That's
mark.
always what they would put
mark.
in the title, the email title.
Yeah.
Hot.
Hot. Burning hot.
You're gonna burn yourself with this email.
And basically it was like, don't you ever dare use that word again. You are setting these very unrealistic expectations for the fans. What if they're not surprised by anything? How dare you?
It's like we cannot define what a surprise is, and we're giving these inflated expectations.
Right, and that was like a big no-no.
Great that that was never discussed in advance, never to use this word, but it was very clear after that.
After that, we were like, okay, never again.
And then we still hear from people like, I still refuse to use this word in my ordinary life.
So we posted this, and so many of our old Nintendo friends that have since moved on to other companies, they DM'd me. Like, they DM'd us, and they were, like, so triggered by this. So many people. I was like, oh, I'm so glad we should form, like, a support group or something.
I think there's a lot of people who want to, like, retweet or comment on our stuff, but they can't.
I know, yeah. But there's also people that are not working at Nintendo anymore that happily retweeted it and, like, sent us funny comments about how they're still traumatized.
So that's surprise.
Success. This one actually was defined by Mr. Iwata.
This was a Mr. Iwata thing, which I think got misinterpreted
I think so
as time
too.
went on.
Yeah.
I think, as he explained it to us, the minute you say that you are successful,
it means you're complacent.
you basically have taken your foot off the gas.
Right.
And whatever success you had is going to go away.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
you can never hold on to it. It's not lasting.
So you need to stay hungry. You need to always be pushing yourself and finding some new goal to achieve.
And I think that's actually very I love that.
Yeah. I
the
don't,
way that he defined
right.
it.
I don't take issue with that. But I think as it got told and passed down.
Yeah, it's like the what's that thing called when you play
Telephone.
a game of telephone?
Right.
Yeah.
It got a little out of control where it was you will literally get in trouble if you say this word in
Right.
an email or in a meeting or
Yeah. And sometimes it's like a natural phrasing that
Right.
you make, like, oh, this event was really
right. Like if you said that in a meeting, it would be like a record scratch moment and everyone would just be
you're
like,
like, and there's been
what
whoa.
did you say, young lady?
You'd be sent to your room without
Yeah.
dinner.
We don't use that word around
No,
here.
we don't use that
We
word.
don't.
It's like if you said the F word. It's like that same. I think people have said the F word in meetings
I don't know
and
what-
have gotten no reaction.
I don't know what that word is, first of all.
And then people have said the word success in a meeting and have gotten the horrified, like, shock and awe reaction.
Right. So
Like a 4-letter word.
So again, as it was originally explained, I didn't really take an issue with it, but it got very tedious.
It got tedious.
And it was like people,
Like, can you get off this?
nobody's getting a medal for getting upset at somebody saying a word.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, we get
Yeah,
it. We're
yeah.
not. Yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. This should be
So now you know.
The name of my new self-help book. Success is a 4-letter word by Krysta Yang.
Last thing we want to say up front, we are doing our wonderful monthly One Up Club
Oh my
meetup
gosh,
this
this
weekend.
could not be more serendipitous.
And the stars have aligned because we're doing it the same day as the Splatfest.
Hopefully it works.
The Splatoon
though.
3 Test Fire Splatfest. Well, that's not up to us.
I mean, but still.
We cannot decide if the game will work or not.
I know, but still, though, I want it to work so
Will the
we can all
Splatfest
play
be a
together.
success? I don't know.
Will it surprise you?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. But we're going to try. We're going to get together. We're going to hang out. We're going to do that. It's perfect time.
It's perfect time.
The
It's
last
so
hour
perfect.
before the thing shuts down.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
perfect. So,
So
we're
that-
so excited to hang out with our One Up Club members.
Yeah.
If you want to join us for the Splatfest, not too late.
Yes.
Get on that Patreon. And hang out with us. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We have a ton of fun with those meetups. It's just very casual. We kind of just chill out with our
Yeah.
One Up Club members
Right.
and play games. All right. We have a word from our sponsor today, which is BetterHelp.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we talked about BetterHelp last episode.
Right.
I think this was our first time using BetterHelp. And since then, we've been matched with our therapist.
I have an appointment scheduled.
We have appointments scheduled.
You do too?
I do.
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful.
So there's been some progress on this,
Yes.
which has been awesome. But for those of you who don't know, BetterHelp is basically, online therapy. It makes it super easy for you to get into therapy if you've been thinking about it. And, we talk so much about work stress, especially from the trauma of saying the word surprise and success. I need to go to therapy clearly for that. Still holding on to these demons. But yeah, it's so important for you to take care of your mental health, and BetterHelp makes it
Right.
so easy for you to do that.
The thing that I like about it is you can choose kind of your level or how you want the interaction to go.
Right.
If you want to do, a meeting where you can see the other person, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to do like a
Phone
audio
only,
only,
audio only.
you can do just chat.
The chat only is
Right.
such a good idea.
That's nice.
Because it's almost like sometimes I chat my friends to vent to them.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're like, can you just not talk to me
Right.
about this? Because it's very I'm not your therapist.
Right.
You know,
I think people have different degrees of comfort of
Yeah.
opening up about these things that maybe they haven't talked to people
Exactly.
about in a serious way.
Yeah. Just
So-
some sort of comfort level that you can
Yeah.
choose is so nice.
Yeah, and as you keep going, you can change that and hopefully form a relationship with your therapist.
Yeah, and build that relationship.
The comfort,
and
yes.
trust. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. We were both matched with our therapist in less than 48 hours, which is
Very
so
quick,
nice.
yeah.
You fill out a really sort of detailed questionnaire that allows you to kind of dive into specifics of what you're looking for, and that was really easy. And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy as
True.
well. So if you're, again, looking for a way to really take care of your mental health, this is a great way
Yeah.
to do that. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/KitandKrysta. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KitandKrysta. And we'll put the link here and also in the description box. So check it out.
Outstanding.
Great. All right, Nintendo Storytime today. Another source of trauma for both of us.
It has a happy ending.
It does have a happy ending.
I'll say, like a very happy ending.
It has a very happy ending that was made even sweeter because of the said trauma.
The highs and lows were deep.
It was a roller coaster ride, for sure. We're going to be talking about a very ill-fated episode of Nintendo Minute where we play Fortnite and had some really bad technical issues.
Right.
But then we had a moment of triumph at the very end.
Yeah, so this was, what was the year Fortnite came out on Switch? Was that 2018?
2018,
I think,
yes.
well, you can look it up.
Right,
you know,
it was that year.
This video is still up on the Nintendo channel.
Yes, I will put some clips here.
It's the first Fortnite video that we did.
Right.
And just a bit of background on that. So we recorded that the Monday when we were back from E3.
Right.
Because the game had come out during E3.
It was one of those drops during E3.
And it was going great. And through that weekend, people were like, "Yeah, we're loving Fortnite on the Switch," and it was like, "Wow, we should do a video on this.
Do something for this."
So we decide, we'll just do a very straightforward video where we play it, let people see it running on the Switch, because that was a question we were getting all like, "What does it look like? Does it work?"
And we were excited too because we were like, "We'll do duos. Like that would be perfect for us to like."
And that was our first time playing the game.
Exactly.
Really, honestly. So,
exactly. So we were so excited.
Yeah, and The first Monday back from E3, you're still very much recovering.
You're a little foggy.
You're a little burnt out still.
From that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was also the video for that week, right? So we were under the pressure of time to film it on Monday, release it
Get it out on Friday.
That we normally have more time, but because of E3, we had a very truncated window.
It sounded like, all right, this will be a pretty straightforward video.
Yeah, we're like, this should be easy for us to pull together.
Right.
For our editors and for us.
Right. Leading up to this, though, we did have some lingering questions. Mm-hmm. The Nintendo IT experience
is subpar.
Often left something to be desired.
It was, let's just put it very clearly. It was really bad. Like, at times it made it almost impossible to do your job. And I'm not talking about playing Fortnite in the office. I'm talking about doing your actual job.
Right.
Like, I remember just times where things legit did not work. I remember hours I've spent on like babysitting file transfers, like 8 hours of file transfers that literally would like crash in the 7th hour, and then you would just like rip your hair
start over.
There was really embarrassing moments when we would have like media demos.
Let me say.
You can talk about this. So you had some really bad times there.
There was a famous moment where we had Andre Seegers of Game Explain into the office.
The wonderful Andre.
To check out Splatoon, the first Splatoon. And, this was kind of right before the game had come out, and we were going to go online and play a match.
Right.
And we could not get the Wii U to connect to the office network.
Right.
Which...
With him in the room, with the media person there.
Yeah, he was there. And in hindsight, we found out, like, our network's not really made to work with, game systems and stuff, which, well, maybe...
Okay. We're Nintendo. We can't connect our...
Yeah, the Nintendo office is not
Wi-Fi
made...
to the Nintendo system that we make.
Seems like a miss. But anyway, we fumbled around with that for like 30 minutes.
So sad.
With poor Andre there. And then we decided, it's like, well, we need to show you this. Andre, could we go to your house and show you this?
He's like, I need to clean my house.
I know. I felt so bad for him because he was like, I guess?
I mean, I guess he wanted to see it.
I don't know if he was expecting to have guests from Nintendo that day.
I know, just like, let me just like crash your house.
Handled it like a champ. We got it done. But that was extremely embarrassing.
Yeah. Thank goodness for him being a good sport. Because I think that there was that's a moment where like, if you didn't have someone as nice as Andre who would let you go to his house to show him this unreleased game, like you would have missed out on like getting that media coverage for this game. That is legitimately like, you cannot do your job because the IT was so terrible.
Yeah. So sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. So that was in the back of our mind going into this.
Yeah.
Of like, are we going
to have these issues?
Let's hope this works.
And I think we had, again, we were all at E3, so we kind of didn't have as much planning time. But I feel like our production team, like producer Stephanie and some of the other people there, they had like reached out to IT and they were like, oh yeah.
They had gotten assurances that
they were like, it should be fine. Like they fixed those issues from before.
Yeah.
Your Switch should be able to connect, blah, blah, blah. We're
Right.
like, okay.
So we're getting into our usual studio, the one with the iconic background.
Yes.
And lo and behold, we're starting to have issues connecting.
Yeah.
But this was a little bit different of an issue.
Yeah.
This
it
was
like connect but not hold.
It was like we were too far away from the access point.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was getting like one bar on my, on the Switch. I was like, well, this is a new one.
Right.
We had those routers like all over the office.
Right. They were like in the ceiling.
So normally, like that's not an issue we would normally have. I don't know if one or more were down that
or
day, or if
for some reason the Switch was only pinging like the one that was further away.
Yeah, I don't
or something.
know. So it was like, okay, this is not really working.
No.
But it's like, well,
but it was frustrating.
It's different from us just getting random disconnects, though. So why don't we go into another meeting room, which we'd used before when our studio was being overhauled,
like remodeled and stuff,
and we'll do it there. So it's like, all right, fine, let's just try that, and hopefully it'll.
The
work.
thing that was annoying though, because it was like dropping the Wi-Fi randomly. Like we would get like we would start filming,
right,
and we would be like halfway through a match, or like 3/4 of a way through a match, and we were like begging, like please don't disconnect, and it would disconnect,
right.
And so we would have to there was like multiple cuts,
half takes
that we but they were like at least 5, 7, 10 minutes, because those matches are longer than that we just. So we were like struggling for like hours trying to do these half takes. It's horrible.
Right. So we get set up in that new room. The connection seems stronger.
Yeah.
You're getting the full bars. Yeah. It's like, okay.
It was such an ugly setup though.
We were
literally in this like really ugly conference room.
Yeah.
So we didn't have our like cute background. The lighting was really bad. I know the production team was like struggling with that. We had this like miniature size TV that we were like trying to look at the game footage, and we were in these like swivel chairs. I mean, I'll put the clips here for you guys to see, but just know the behind the scenes on that. We might look happy in the video, but I was like really mad. I was getting really pissed.
Yeah. That is one thing that like gets you visibly angry, is like when you have to do something more than once in a video.
Especially for Nintendo Minute videos, because the whole point of it is that we never scripted it. We never did more than one take, unless it was some sort of technical issue.
Right.
And to have to, we did it multiple, like it was like 5 or 6 times.
Right.
So it wasn't just like twice.
So as we were in that room getting it set up, the connection was fine, but we did have those random disconnects still.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, let's just try this one more time.
If it doesn't work, then we'll have to think of something
If it doesn't
else.
work, maybe we just won't have a video that week. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll
try to do it at home, like film ourselves at home or something.
But we'll have to stop for today because we're just hitting a brick wall.
None of us can't do it. Yeah, none of us can do it anymore.
So we started up, and magically we got through this match, and
this is the best part.
We got the victory royale.
It was. I think I may have shed a tear. Like after the elation from the victory royale was so double-sided.
I know.
Like again, you guys just saw the, like us reacting to the win.
Yeah.
But you get no idea like what we went through to get that.
I don't know if I'd love to hear from people watching that video. Like, do we look more excited than usual?
Yeah.
Because the pop off was so like amplified.
Yeah.
I think I said like anything is possible. The internet can work.
I think it was like a miracle.
I know.
It was like a Christmas miracle, not during Christmas.
As we were getting down to like the last 10 people, I was like, it's gonna crash now. It's gonna crash now.
I know.
Any
I
second.
think there was a couple. I need to look at the video again, but there was a couple moments towards the end where I couldn't not. I was like silent because I was like getting really superstitious. Like, don't say anything. If you say anything, if you breathe on the internet, it's gonna crash. Don't breathe. Everyone, shut up. And I think the producers too. Like I remember, like producer Jasmine was in there, like nail biting this, like But yeah, it was so sweet,
intense, right?
So sweet.
And like we had no reason winning that match.
No, we were terrible.
We were two noobs.
We're two noobs that were like absolutely terrible.
I think we were mostly like hiding in the corner.
I was like a bush for like 90% of the time, and then people were in the comments are like, "Kid totally carried you. You didn't do anything." I'm like,
I barely did anything either.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I suck at this. I don't care.
But yeah. Very strange day trying to film that video.
Oh my gosh, it was trying, very trying, and it amplified because we kind of went into it knowing like, should we trust the IT here?
Right.
And obviously the answer is never trust the IT.
But that was really the last straw where we just swore off of like we're not doing
never again
internet videos. Do we need the internet? Can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. That was like it was like local co-op only.
Yeah,
forever.
It was funny because. we certainly were not the only ones who had this feeling. I remember you and I would sometimes go to these like new hire lunches.
Oh yeah.
And they would always ask the same questions, like, what's something you like about Nintendo, and maybe what's something that's not making sense yet. There's people who work there for like a week, so they're on their best behavior still.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, it was like, oh, I love the people or whatever. It's like,
the products are great.
Yeah. But then they'd always put it in the nicest way. It's like, well, the IT here is it's a little different from what I'm used to.
Yeah, no, so true. I remember there was somebody that just started that went through 4 laptops.
And we'd just be like, yep.
Better get used to that. But the thing is, like, nothing changed. We would complain endlessly.
Yeah.
Like, we would complain to everyone who would listen,
know.
and nobody would do anything about it. So.
I know. It was, that was frustrating.
Yeah, good luck to everyone.
Might be a segue to our conversation later.
We have some issues.
We're not there yet, though.
We have some issues.
What's up next here? Oh, your performance review.
My
6
performance
months.
Review. Okay,
we would do performance reviews every 6 months.
That's right. And you were my boss, so you would do them.
Just like you go to. Do you go to the dentist every 6 months?
I do.
Oh, I do too.
Actually, every 4 months.
What?
I go 3 times a year because my teeth.
That's
this is
a lot.
gross, but my
Tell us.
dentist said that.
There's no secrets here.
Okay. My dentist said that my teeth just get more like. What is it, like the...
Because you don't floss.
No, I floss every day. Just like the makeup, the genetics of my teeth just means I have to go to the dentist more often. Yeah. So I go every 4 months.
Do we have any dentists in our midst? Is this like a real thing, or is this a scam that you've been...
No, I love my dentist.
Taken under.
My dentist is awesome. I love going there. It's like my favorite thing.
I've never had a cavity in my life.
That's true. You've never had a cavity in your
As I
whole
look
life.
into the camera and say this with a smile.
Yeah, I
Ding!
definitely had cavities.
Never had a cavity.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I will.
There was
edit
one
that
point
in.
where I was like between jobs, and I had to I was switching insurance, and I
that's the
had to
worst.
go to this other dentist one time, and the dentist was like, "You got a mouthful of cavities," and I was like, "No, I don't," and I never went back to that dentist again.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was like, "I don't have cavities. Are you joking me?"
Oh no.
And then I went back to my old dentist, who
My dentist-
I've been with for the rest of my life.
My dentist that I had before I changed dentists was my childhood dentist.
Yeah.
Who saw me since I was like a little girl.
Right.
And he had in his file he was like, oh, I remember you were like a gymnast, and like when I was an adult, he was like, oh, that's right, you were the one that like won those medals for gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like I remember all these things, and it was so funny. And then he retired, which obviously is fine, but so I had to get a new dentist. But I was like, this is the best. Like he knew me so well.
Right.
He was like he's like grandpa. Like my
I had kind of a similar situation where it was the same office I'd been going to, and then the person retired, but they like handpicked their successor, and they had like the same, outlook on things.
Oh, wow.
So it was good. All right,
Yeah.
this is a huge tangent.
I know, we need to move on to the
We're the
performance.
top dental podcast out there. How many of those are there?
Sponsor us, Studio Dental. If you're in San Francisco, Studio Dental is awesome.
Wow. Hashtag future sponsor. All right, you've stalled too much. It's time for our 6 month
to me.
update. Well, you can say something too.
I'm just kidding.
So,
of course I will.
Yeah, we started this almost exactly 6 months ago.
Can't believe it. It's
So
so
it's
crazy.
been kind of a good exercise to look back at where we started and where we are now. I will say, I don't know if you feel the same way, it feels longer than 6 months.
It definitely feels longer.
Not in a bad way.
No, not
of like,
exactly.
oh my God, every day.
What a slog.
Every day is a struggle.
No, every day is a joy, actually.
But it's like, it feels like we have already grown in a lot of major ways.
Yes.
To look back 6 months ago is like, wow, we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, we started literally at ground zero for everything.
Right.
We knew that, at the time when we were going to start this, it was going to be a process, and we were going to be losing like all of those safety nets we had at Nintendo.
Right.
Like every single one of those safety nets were basically like, they're no more. You have to build it all from scratch, and that was a really scary thing. But I think looking back, it's like, oh, we have like achieved a lot of those things, and we've put like new safety nets in place. Now it feels a lot more comfortable, but also like there's still so much room to grow more.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good feeling for me. It's like we certainly are so far from like reaching the end, obviously.
The end?
There's no end, obviously.
What? Whoa.
Or like this like, what do they call it in like,
I don't know.
This is a stupid word that I don't like, but like a stretch goal, but
Okay.
but it's like, but we have built like some foundation
Yes.
stuff that makes it feel not so like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, oh my goodness.
Right.
This could come crashing down at any moment. So,
well, I think one of the reasons it feels like we've come a long way is like we were very intentional of not overdoing it at the start.
That's true,
And again, that was
and we talked about that a lot.
Consistent piece of feedback we got from all of our friends.
Yeah, we did some research.
Who gave us very good comments.
Really
with
good feedback,
you're going to build up to things and start with something you're really comfortable and you can do from day one, and just kind of layer on as you go. So when we started, we had just the podcast.
Yeah.
And we did that for a couple weeks and really started to feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. Getting used to the schedule of putting that out and the consistency of what that looks like was like a process as well. It's not just the recording part of it, but just like all the things.
Well, we did have to. I mean, we had to learn that too.
I know.
I mean, we had to
again, the safety nets were gone.
The first couple of weeks, we had this crazy issue with our audio where it's just like a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Your set, we wear different microphones, so it records 2 tracks.
Yeah.
By the end, it would be off sync by 0.0001
but
seconds.
But you can definitely tell.
But the human brain is good at detecting that stuff, and it sounded weird.
It did. Sounded super
So
weird.
I would have to go into the file and do some crazy stuff.
And you were doing you were researching this issue, and it was and one of those things where it's there was no good solution.
Right. A lot of people had experienced this, but there was no solution.
Yeah, so you had to go.
So I had to come up with a solution on my own.
Things.
Eventually, we fixed that. That got fixed. Thank goodness. We haven't had to deal with that. But that's an example of it's good that we didn't bite off a lot more because there were just some normal
unexpected
growing
things.
pains
Yeah.
that we had to get past.
Yeah. Totally.
Right. So. Now we have the podcast. We got Super Kit and Krysta 64. That was obviously previously that was the Kit and Krysta show.
Yep.
Doing reactions. We got Kit and Krysta Play, and again all the kind of short form stuff that we're putting up. So that feels like a pretty good
ecosystem.
Whatever you want to call it.
Content.
Right.
Yeah.
I think and now that we've had all of these for a few months, something that does still surprise me is I think the podcast is our flagship.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah.
Which is probably not what I would have.
I did not expect this.
Right.
Yeah, because I think for people that do know us, and of course there's a lot of you that are following us now because of Nintendo Minute, I would say Super Kit and Krysta 64 is more closely aligned with that content.
Yeah.
So I was for sure you guys want to watch.
That'll be the main thing.
Yeah, you guys are going to watch that.
Right.
Want to watch that. But no, it's the 2-hour podcast that you guys are wanting. That's fine.
So I mean that's great,
awesome.
And it's definitely helped us feel different as we move on from Nintendo having this type of content that we just didn't do.
Yeah,
before.
Exactly.
At the same time, sometimes those Super Kit and Krysta 64 episodes, it's I thought that would have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of trying
to figure it out still.
Figure out where we want to be different, where people want something that's, that they're familiar with and feel comforting in that.
Or what lane should we be in for those, for those? Because it's the podcast, seems to have been more established now. You guys know what to expect with Storytime and with, our reactions to industry news and stuff and questions. And I think that's going really well. But it's we have so much variety and we want to stay creative with Super Kit and Krysta 64, but I don't think we've quite nailed it yet on what it is that makes this different and special and maybe how to fit it into the rest of the things that we do.
Yeah, something we've talked about more recently is let's really focus on things that we just couldn't do at all at Nintendo for for whatever reason, whether it's a non-Nintendo system or something like the Game Boy camera video.
Yeah, that was the one.
That's not an extreme example, but people would be why would you waste your time with that?
Yeah, exactly.
If we had done that. So I think that's a good just kind of focus point for us going forward.
That's going to be our little does this fit this criteria? And if the answer is no, then we just won't do that video.
Right. Exactly. And then the reactions have been fun. That's something I know that you were super excited about doing because we just couldn't do them before.
I'm so excited about that, and they have been so much fun. And learning how to do those live has been. I know
that was another one of those growing pains. We have no background in streaming,
right?
So when we talk about what we want to do more in the future, I think streaming is one of those things. But we just had to get some get some reps, as they say, get some experience.
Yeah, exactly. And just like kind of get more comfortable streaming.
Because I'm still at the point where every time we do one, I'm just like, oh, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, like
this
something's
is
going to happen.
Crash and burn.
Something's going to happen.
And that hasn't happened yet. But
knock on wood.
There are a lot of kind of technical details to keep track of that we are slowly getting better with.
And again, it's just the two of us. We don't have like a production team.
Right.
Like a lot of other like, you know, game like with multiple people, they have like somebody that's running their stream for them. Like we don't have that. So so you have to be like reacting or whatever and doing all the technical stuff on the side. So but those have been really fun, and it's nice because we're able to have like these, you know, really authentic reactions and comments to things finally. Like we've always had those, but we of course, you know, had to keep some of it to ourselves and not share like all of our opinions. So it's been really nice to just be like 100% like with you guys. So.
And then I think you know, Kit and Krysta Play has been a good distinction between Super Kit and Krysta 64, because that's just where we're doing like longer form uncut gameplay.
Yeah.
We just did one of those this weekend for Kirby's Dream Buffet.
Yeah, that's like the easiest one, because I always joke around, like, if you're going to be playing the game together anyway, might as well record it.
Right.
So basically it's just like literally our normal, like, hey, you want to try to play this game real quick? Like, okay, cool. And then we'll play it and then just upload that full cut too.
And that was, we started doing those around the time we did the Paper Mario video. And we were like, oh,
that should have been
one of these. And then we could have maybe even turned that into a series where we, you know, play more.
Yeah.
So I think you'll probably see less kind of traditional gameplay videos on Super Kit and Krysta 64. We'll still play games, but they might have some sort of a hook or a challenge.
Yeah, like a challenge or a vlog component, like what we're doing with the Ninja Turtles video.
And then we'll balance that out with Kit and Krysta Play having just more very straightforward gameplay that we're still talking over, but is just focused on the game.
And I think one day we'd love for those to be like maybe some component of those to be live or streamed or something like that. I know a lot of you have been asking, like, will we ever stream like on Twitch or whatever? Like, we're definitely working up to that, and I think that could be a good, you know, part of our, like, you know, content that we do that's like streamed or whatever. And that would be really fun for us to do once we can do that.
And then looking at, you know, what we've been doing on Patreon, it's the same thing as the content, where we started with one tier.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was really just, you know, get early access to the podcast. And now we have 5 tiers, which I think to us feel very distinct and different. And it seems like there's, you know, different people have found the right tier for them, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been really cool actually to see. And I feel like this last round of additional tiers that we did earlier this month has been the biggest change on Patreon, because we did 1 tier to 3 tiers to 5 tiers. We kind of did a slow ramp up. I would say this time felt more distinctive than the other updates. It just felt like our community really grew from this one, and I was really amazed at all of the wonderful supporters that we have in the Superstars tier. Not only are they just such great members of our community, but they're just extremely smart. And, you know, we started that tier to have like this really like close, almost like a production crew type relation, because we kind of missed that, having additional perspectives from our production crew back when we were working at Nintendo. And I totally feel like we found that. Like, we talk to them all the time. They give us such great suggestions and ideas, and we're able to like implement a lot of those. And it's just been really nice to have other people to like bounce ideas off of. So I've been really happy with that, and really surprised with just like the growth of Patreon. Yeah,
they're very invested and hands-on in ways that they honestly don't have to be.
I know.
So we definitely appreciate that.
They're really the best.
Yeah. And then our Discord has just been such a kind of surprise hit.
Yeah. Again, we have no idea how to run Discord, so we rely a lot on our Patreon members to help us.
Yeah, we get a lot of good tips from them, but it's just become such a, you know, fun place to hang out and talk to people. And
the thing I'm most proud of from our Discord, and something that I will like really try to work hard on maintaining, is a lot of people come to our Discord and say like it's a really positive place. Yeah. Compared to other Discords that they're in, compared to other communities they've been a part of, like it feels very like chill and very positive, very just very friendly. And as we grow, I want to make sure we really focus on maintaining that.
Yeah.
Because as you grow, it can become a little bit harder to do that. So that's one thing that I'm just like really proud that all of our community members are this way. They're so welcoming to new people. They're so welcoming of people's different opinions, and yeah, that's something that I'm just like so happy to see. So
yeah. See, now instead of waking up to 50
emails
from Japan, you get 50 nice Discord messages.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I look at Discord first thing in the morning. That's my new thing now. Because
Yeah.
I used to look at my stupid email first thing in the morning. It was the worst ever. And now I get to look at Discord first thing in the morning. I get like the husbando
updates.
I get photos.
You're getting a daily report on husbandos.
I get a daily report on husbandos.
Put these people to work. Yes.
She started just a husbando channel.
I am surprised that you mentioned the kind of around the clock nature of it, how international it is.
Oh my God, it's
because
amazing.
Because obviously Nintendo Minute was mainly made by Nintendo of America and distributed through those channels. It's like, wow, we have people really everywhere.
Yeah, just in our superstar tier, it's like almost every continent. Like we have like across the globe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have tons of different countries represented.
Right.
And it's so cool. And I'm always like loving the people go on vacation or they'll show pictures of where they're living. It's like, you live in this beautiful place in France? Like, wow.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's cool to get to know people.
We do have one person who's from New Zealand who you said was from Australia, which was kind of a facepalm moment. But I guess your campaign against
I love New Zealand.
Oceania, is that what they call it, continues?
Oceania. No, I'm sorry.
We are implementing Discord mods this week. We have some people that we're getting ready to put into that role.
We had some great chats with them.
Frankly, we had talked about doing that before, but we just didn't need to.
Yeah.
But
we do.
Now that we have this influx of new people, and again, everybody's been doing great. It's just good to have more people who are there and keeping it all moving forward. And
yeah, exactly. Keeping it all positive and welcoming and friendly is like really important to us. And I think our mods will definitely like uphold that.
Yeah.
And help us because it's around the clock and we cannot be around the clock. So
right.
Yeah.
One last thing I'll say on Patreon is again we've been growing it slowly by intentionally. I do sort of look at some of our peers out there, and it's like, it feels like we have some room to grow as well.
Totally.
And I'm certainly not comparing ourselves to like the kind of funnies of the world. They're in a whole other echelon. But I'm curious for those who are watching or listening, and you are not a Patreon member. Is there a particular reason? Is there something you'd like? I'm curious to know. And there's a lot of people who are just in the position of like, hey, I can't afford it, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But if there's something that you've been holding out for or that you want to see happen with it, let us know.
Yeah, we're super open to your thoughts, and again, like we want to continue to grow this. So yeah, we'd love to hear your opinions.
Right, because again, the Patreon side of it is kind of the main way currently that we are keeping it all moving along. So
yeah, exactly.
We don't want to overemphasize that part of it, but it is important that we keep it healthy and growing.
Yeah. That is what we need to like actually make this content possible.
Right.
So it's not just words. It's literally like we do actually need this.
Yeah. And then also on kind of that side of things, we do now have somebody who's helping us find sponsors, great sponsors like BetterHelp, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's been so nice.
As far as there, we are a small business.
That's
so
right.
That's been, a behind the scenes part of it, of learning how to do that, and
Yeah, I had to make an invoice for the first time. And I was like, how do I do this? I Googled how to make an invoice. I had to do like bookkeeping, which I don't know why you trust me with that, because I'm terrible at math. So it's not great.
Well.
Like this Excel spreadsheet, like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I've learned a lot about like contracts and, you know, like you just don't, taxes. You don't think about like that part of starting a business. Like
I honestly never thought of myself as somebody who would start a business, because it's like I don't want to have to deal with that stuff.
It's a lot, yeah.
And there's a lot to it, but none of it is like impossible. Like we're two relatively smart people, so we can figure it out.
Somebody will I mean, like, it's good that there's two of us, because sometimes when I'm like, I actually,
taxes though.
We have someone for taxes.
We gotta start thinking about the taxes.
We have someone to help us with that. Don't worry.
Anyhow, looking ahead to the future. there are some things that we want to do and will be doing, which is great.
The big number one thing, and the reason why we've been a little slow to go forward with this is because we very specifically wanted a certain someone to be our first guest.
Right.
And guests, again, we hear from you guys. We want this too. We have already a running list of people that we want to come on to the show as guests, but it's really important to us to have Reggie as our first guest. Right. And that's happening.
Yes.
So,
we're doing that at PAX.
Yes, in person, which is even better than we could have ever imagined. We were just, so over the moon that we get to spend some time with Reggie in a less than a week, I guess, in a week. And once we have Reggie on the show, then we'll have probably more regular guests as well.
They probably won't be, every week, but again, we have a great list, and I think we can also find some really interesting ways to have them on that feel different from just a standard guest appearance. They could do Storytime.
Exactly. They have Nintendo stories too.
Say we have Jeff Keighley on. He's got all sorts of stories of working with Nintendo that bring a whole fresh new perspective.
He can tell us his side and we can tell him our side.
Right.
That would be really fun, I think. Because I think we can all use a little vent sesh around that. Jeff is like, yes, please. So that's one thing that we were wanting to get off the ground, but we're really happy that we'll have Reggie on very soon, and then we can start to do this more regularly. And then collaborations too. We've been wanting to do collaborations with all of our creator friends. We've built some great relationships with when we were working at Nintendo. I really miss doing stuff with them. We did so much with them on Nintendo Minute. So hopefully soon we'll be able to do that as well and get some other creators on our channel.
Indeed. And then streams, we sort of talked about that, but that's sort of a big area that we're getting more and more comfortable, and we probably will do more of in the future.
Yes, we're slowly working our way there.
Yeah.
You guys tell us all your tips for streaming and how to get us over this scary hump of streaming.
And I think the big takeaway for this whole looking forward is if there's something you want to see us do that we're not doing, let us know.
Because that's the whole point of this.
And we read every comment, and we're looking at what people are saying, so we aim to please.
Exactly. If you tell us that you want us to do something, we'll probably do it. So chances are good. Very agreeable people. And then we really want to continue. This is the one thing that I felt this huge relief when we both left Nintendo and decided to start this, is we finally have this freedom, and don't get us wrong, we were doing stuff that we love to do at Nintendo, but it's now you could really there's no more approvals or these crazy guardrails, and there's all these ways that we could make content the way that we truly wanted to, now that we're on our own. So that's been something that I think it was something that I was excited about, but then it was harder than I thought it would be, because it's you kind of fall into your old habits of just doing stuff that you're used to doing,
right,
and when you make 430 episodes of something, which was what we did with Nintendo Minute, it's kind of hard to break out of that habit when you're used to working in under the corporate I'm trying to think of a not negative word. I was going to say shackles, but that sounds bad. Guardrails? That sounds bad too. Ugh. When you're working under a corporation, it's for 14 years, it's hard to get your mind to
Mind in Chains?
Unlock. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Totally. Right? I felt a little bit like that. I don't know if you did, but I'm slowly rehabilitating myself. So
the other thing is our balance of Nintendo content and non-Nintendo content. We definitely want to do more non-Nintendo content, but the fact is there have just not been as many games that we really want to do stuff with as there have been on Switch.
Right.
We did a lot of stuff with Elden Ring. We talked about Elden Ring for literally months.
Yes.
But it's been a bit of a slow
a dry-ish
period.
spell.
So we're hopeful as we get into the big holiday season that there's more that we can do with there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God of War, where you at? Here comes like 3 months of God of War. Starting. Yeah.
So that's kind of our 6-month check-in there.
Yeah. Again, I think we've done a lot in the time, but there's still so much more for us to do. So it's just exciting to look back, and also exciting to think about like what could be next in the future. So yeah, well, thanks for sticking with us so far. You know, we obviously can't do this without you guys. No. So it just means the world to us, and it's been great. And I can't believe that we're going to be like going to PAX in like
soon,
a couple of weeks to do a live show.
You've already had a nightmare about like PAX. Please share your nightmare.
I'm like talking about this, and I'm like literally like breaking into a cold sweat.
This doesn't bode well.
I had a nightmare. So my new thing that is giving me like anxiety is this cord that's on our audio, where like whenever we do any sort of like vlog or whatever, like that Game Boy camera vlog was like annoying because we kept getting like all the cords were like getting tangled.
We're investigating wireless mics, but we don't have them yet.
Yeah, we've been investigating this. But anyways, so with the cords, they were just like a tangled mess like all the time. So I had this nightmare that we were about to record with Reggie, and we couldn't untangle the mic cords, and I was like, oh my god, Reggie is waiting. This is so unprofessional. Like he's just like
tapping. He's looking down his glasses, which is a move he totally does.
He's like, how are you? How are the cords? Like he's gonna
oh no, don't like the look of this. This doesn't look good. I guess I better leave. I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think I can do this anymore.
I know. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna leave. Like the cords are just like, it was like a ball of cords that I couldn't.
So this is literally a nightmare that you had.
I had this nightmare like 3 days ago.
Does that mean it's more or less likely to happen now?
I'm just going to be very careful with the cords. I'll put them in like separate little baggies, maybe. Like separate.
Okay.
You know, when we pack them, we'll just be really careful. Anyways, I'll try to get over it.
Wow.
This is what you have to do.
And that doesn't even have anything to do with people coming to our panel.
Let's not talk about that right now.
We're doing a panel at PAX. If you're going to the show, please come.
It's on Saturday at 3.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll put
See you there.
We'll put more stuff about it.
Yeah,
but
we'll start. We got to start the hype machine for that soon.
The hype train, all aboard, people. But also, like, please be nice.
What?
I don't know. I'm scared.
All right, it's gonna be a one-person show. You'll be breathing into a paper bag in the back. Like, hello, Seattle.
They're gonna be hot.
I'm here. Krysta's not.
Like the Fortnite pop-off.
Before we get on to what we are playing,
I'm
pointing at you.
Why?
Can you commit to not sharing spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 this week?
Yes.
In the end,
that wasn't really a spoiler.
I found out I was perhaps the only one who got spoiled.
You overreacted because everyone said that the thing that I talked about last week was in a trailer. So I was.
But what if you're on media blackout?
That's true.
Like so I was on an indirect media blackout. I just didn't watch too many of those.
Attention. Yeah. You were on a
I was like, I didn't know that.
Huh? But yeah, in the Discord they were like, "What are you worried about? This is fine." Anyways, I will be very careful this week.
All right. Firm commitment. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Oh man, though. Oh me, oh my.
So where are you now? Let's both see where we are in this game. You're in chapter 6?
Chapter 6.
Okay. And I think
at the beginning.
I think I'm at the end of chapter 3. Is where I am. Yeah.
You got a ways.
Are chapters 4 and 5 long ones?
There was a bit of a difficulty spike.
Oh, right, you mentioned that.
I believe that was in chapter 4.
Okay. Even on easy?
For me, yes. I don't know what that means for me and how bad I am at this game. I gotta say that the systems, the battle systems do get a little much for me.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Even in chapter 6, are you still getting these tutorials?
No more tutorials.
When did those start to dry up?
I feel like chapter 3 was like the last one I got.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. There was like something that happened in I got something in chapter 5, and there was like one tutorial that was like, here's how to use this thing.
Okay.
But there's no more like the really like, intense tutorial.
Because I obviously like the new mechanics, but it takes you out of your flow to do a 10-minute, like, now push this button, now push this button.
I'm really not good with the way the tutorial was given to me as well. Like, it was like so much information.
In general?
No, in this game.
But all of the tutorials for this game.
Right, correct.
Okay.
I was just like, I don't know what the main thing that I'm supposed to take away from this tutorial is.
No.
Like, I'm having a hard time, like, understanding this.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because being taken out of the action makes you not want to, like, you just, like, want to click through it.
Yeah.
So maybe that was part of it, too. Like, I didn't read it carefully or something.
It's a tough kind of game design conundrum because people need to know, but you also don't want it to be so tedious that people just tune out.
Yeah. So again, I will say the battle systems are, like, hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to keep track of, like, all the different things I can do, when I should do them.
The battles can get pretty busy.
The battles are busy. There's a lot of action, which I don't mind.
So it's like, well, which enemy am I fighting now? I can't even see. It's like just such a scrum.
Crazy, yeah. All the numbers are flying all around.
Right.
So I have really been, because the battles are just hard for me.
Yeah.
I have really been focused on playing as a healer character now.
Oh.
Like, I don't really play as any of the other classes.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, at the very basic level, I can, like, keep people alive, you know, and just focus on that.
Yeah.
And do, like, the buffs.
Yeah.
More of, like, a support character and let the computer just do the other things. And then, like, the chain attacks, like, I'm okay at those. Like, I kind of understand how to do those. So I usually, like, rely on that to, like, do the damage that I need to get through a boss. This difficulty spike, I think it was my own fault, though, because I think there's a way for you to, like, be strategic and not have to do it the way I did it. That was hard. But, I mean, eventually I got through it, but I had a couple of tries. Like, I had like, died a couple of times and everything, which hadn't happened to me before playing on easy. So that happened. And then, like, everyone keeps telling me about this thing that happens in chapter 5, chapter 4.
There's a thing in 4 and 5 that I've seen people alluding to.
There's a thing in 4 that leads into the thing in 5.
So 5 is like the big one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
4, you're like, what's happening? You're getting, like, a little taste
it's
of,
like a teaser.
It's like a tease, yeah. And at first I was like, wait, am I seeing this right?
Right.
I was like, that can't be it.
Right.
I think I missed something. I was like, no, I think I missed something. And then you go into 5 and, like, all this other stuff happens. And you're like, when am I going to see that thing I saw in 4 again?
Oh.
I don't really know how this is.
Now, we're keeping this spoiler free. I have taken a guess at what I think might have happened.
You have taken a guess.
Am I on? Yes or no? Am I on the right path?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes.
Okay.
But I continue to marvel at the storytelling in this game. Like, I'm like so. I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't know. I guess, like, I just didn't expect this to be such, like, a. I don't even know if this is the right way to describe it. It's like, it feels very adult, this game.
You're more of a Skyrim gal. Right?
I guess. Do you know what I mean, though?
What's this weeb stuff? Not for me.
Give me the real story.
I need to wheel some cheese around.
Oh, the cheese wheeling, yes. Like, it just feels like it's like very, like, relationship driven. It's very much about, like, what the human experience is. Like, these deep things that you would think about. I don't think about this, but, like, I feel like it's like these themes are very, like, non-video gamey.
Why think of the meaning of life when you can have a nightmare about Reggie and a microphone?
Exactly. Or when you can judge people by
There's
looks.
real issues to keep you awake at night.
Judge people by looks only in a very shallow way. Why do you need to think about the human experience or whatever? But, like, that's why it surprised me in chapter 5. I was like, oh, this is, like, for real stuff.
Right.
Like, this is some serious stuff, that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I cried. And I don't cry. You know me.
How much did you cry?
I cried a lot.
A lot?
I was crying for a long time.
Did you get a tissue?
Yes. I had to get a tissue. I cried for, like, a long time.
Was it crying or sobbing?
It was just like...
Weeping?
Like, when I cry, it's like 2 tears. It's like, this is, like, really sad. Like, this is a real emotional experience, But yeah, I was like, dang, this is good. This is good storytelling. Like, they really made me, like, invest in these characters.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in. Like, I want to know what happens. Yeah. Like, what is going to happen with these people?
Well, we did put up a poll this weekend.
Yeah.
So what do people like most?
I voted for story.
So the 4 options were the story, the characters, the world, or the combat.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, You could put, I mean, there's a million, like the music, a lot of people
Sure.
wanted, there's a lot of things you could do. The characters were the landslide winner, which
Yeah.
are, obviously they're related to the story.
Right.
But they...
No, but it's specifically the characters.
think they make the
really
story.
build this character backstory so well.
That's true, they do.
And it's a convoluted story, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like I'm still like wrapping my head around what I saw and experienced in those chapters where I'm like, how does this timeline, like how does this work all together?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the story itself has a lot of that built into it. But it's like, oh, you really like, you're rooting for these people.
Yeah.
Like you want them to succeed. Oh, succeed. You want, you want them, you want them to be okay. Like you really want them to be okay. And yeah, it was just, and there's like real emotion and stuff. I'm like, wow, this is really well done. I'm like shocked.
I might go back. I know they did that, like ask the developer. Maybe there's some other interviews. I'm curious, and maybe people can tell us if they have if they've talked about any of their like inspirations or like reference points for the story. Because I still, it's like I mentioned Dune early on. I still feel a little bit of that. Like Hunger Games is something.
It's got a little of that.
Where these people just feel kind of like disposable.
Or your life is just to battle.
Right. I'm just wondering, like, what were there any other like really clear cut inspirations? Maybe they don't want to say so they don't get sued. But I'm very curious. About that.
Yeah, and the characters feel like incredibly complex.
Right.
And not within themselves, but also their relationship with each other.
Because I have seen some people, and this is something I agree with, is like with most RPGs, like you're more focused on the combat, and that's what you enjoy the most, and you kind of, you know, do the story to get to the combat, but it's flipped a lot in this game.
It totally flipped. Like I sometimes when the combat is happening, I'm like, I'm just auto pressing like the button. I don't care at all. I'm just like, whatever. I know you'll be fine. Like, let me get to the next cutscene. Like, I can't wait to get to the next dialogue. Like, I just want to do that. You know. Yeah, there's a lot of characters too for you to keep track of. So that's one thing that they do really well. Is like, okay, you really get invested in like this huge group of people. Now you had a hot take. Do you want me to call you out for this hot take about the music?
Well, I guess you've said it, so you might as well.
So tell the people what you said about the music.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, this is the greatest soundtrack ever," or "This is the soundtrack of the year." And I don't know. Maybe I just need to hear more of it. I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet.
No.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like the music has been secondary. Maybe it's because I'm just so like enthralled by the characters.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike it.
Right.
But it's not like, oh, this is one of the best soundtracks I've heard.
I will say though, in Chapter 5, during the emotional part of the game, there is a very good piece of music. Oh. The flute solos, though.
Flute solo?
There's a lot of flute solos. A flautist? You have a friend that's a flautist.
I do.
Maybe you can learn some Xenoblade tunes.
Okay.
But there is a good piece of music that really, I feel like the music and what was happening really worked together in concert, pun intended, to bring on the waterworks. That got me. Once they started playing that music, I was like, oh no!
I can't wait.
Here comes the tissues!
I can't wait to get to these scenes.
I want to know if people agree.
And scenes and no, I think that, I mean, I've seen so many people.
Tell me your spoiler-free comments about this.
Hint at those moments.
Can we do a spoiler cast for this game when we're done playing?
Are you going to be done playing?
I think so. I'm on Chapter 6. I think I'm almost there.
What is your hour count right now?
Maybe like 32.
All right, that's good.
I'm like halfway
I want to make sure I'm again. When Splatoon 3 comes out, I'm putting this game down, and I might maybe I'll just watch the rest on YouTube. I don't know because I need to play Splatoon 3.
I want to do a spoiler cast because I need someone to talk to.
I can plow through these YouTube videos like you wouldn't believe.
I want to
5x speed.
Live spoiler cast. So I have like a group of people. This is like where you're like, I just need someone to talk to.
Caller?
This is like,
First time, long time.
First time, long time.
Welcome, caller. Tell us your thoughts.
Tell us your thoughts about Chapter 5. Like, I literally need this for my own healing.
Yeah. All right.
So maybe we'll do that.
You have found time, though, to play another game on the side. We are OFK.
We are OFK.
I have 2 questions for you.
Oops. I'm like losing my place.
This was in the indie showcase.
Yes, we got a wonderful.
Are we close to getting another indie showcase? They usually do those around PAX. I'm just putting out a little birdie
feelers.
that says.
When was the last one again? That was in June?
I don't remember exactly.
That was in June.
But
Third Party Showcase was in
There's a good reason. I mean,
June.
there's so many indie games at PAX. There's a good reason to do it.
They used to always do an event, too, at the museum.
Right.
The Modern Art Museum in
So,
Seattle.
per usual, we have no inside information.
Yeah,
I'm just a feeling.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
We got a code for this.
So
I checked it out.
My 2 questions are, how do you say the name of OFK?
OFK.
Okay. Okay. And then what kind of game is this?
It's one of those sort of like, I call it the bedtime game, but it's like a storybook kind of game.
Yeah.
It's very like dialogue driven. It has the mechanic that you and I love for these games, which is text messaging.
Oh, yeah.
And like you get to choose like the responses. And again, the writing is so good, right?
Yeah.
So they make it sound just like you're texting your friend. There's like, you can send like a GIF, you can send like an emoji or whatever.
Yeah.
So they do that, which I love. But yeah, you get to know all these characters that are living in LA.
You're in a band?
You're starting a band.
Ah.
Yeah. And you each have sort of, different things going on in your life. Obviously, you're like sort of I think they're all in their 20s, so they're kind of figuring stuff out. The thing that I was like struck by was like, these people are too cool for me.
Oh.
Like, they're living a life that is like, I am not as cool as you, so I can't relate.
Give me an example.
Like, okay, like in the first part of the game.
I think you're cool.
Thanks. I don't think I am. I think I'm a nerd.
Oh gosh.
I don't care. I don't have to be cool. But like, like one of the characters is like the side job that this person has. It's like a game narrative designer.
Oh.
So like working at this game company or like writing the story for it, and on the side he writes like lyrics and stuff, or like music. It's like, well, that's a cool job, and also side job.
Yeah.
And like they all go to this LA rooftop like industry party, and
We've done those.
No, we haven't.
Sure, we have. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe you took someone else.
We live in different lives. I think my takeaway is I'm way cooler than you.
Probably. But yeah, it's like oh, they're living a different lifestyle.
Oh.
Okay. But it's still like you still get the sense that like.
But they're not like snobby or like annoying.
No, like they're also like, maybe this is too cool for me. Like I'm just figuring this out,
But this is very story based game.
Very story based. There's a lot of different like the thing that you do. Your contribution as a player is like choosing dialogue options.
Yeah. Now I think I had seen that this is coming out like in chunks. Like this is part 1.
Yes.
So how does that work?
There's 3 episodes available now. So there's like sort of a prologue, and then it's episodic. It's like episode 1, 2, 3, or whatever.
Is that? Do you know? Is that like DLC? Do you have to buy that? Does that just get unlocked?
I think it just get unlocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really should have read the information because I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think they just release it. Like, like
all right.
They're time-based, like almost like TV shows.
Right. I'm interested in this game. I think I'll get to this.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's like the art style is really cool. Like I really like just like the vibe of it.
Yeah,
music is good, obviously.
Right.
The main character that you can kind of get to know in the beginning, she's a pianist, so she's like, she's in her little LA apartment, like playing the piano, hanging out with her friends, like living her life, figuring out her life. So it's like that part of it is like very much like, okay. This is very relatable. Yeah, good though. I didn't get very far because I went back to crying in Xenoblade. So
seems like a good like side game though.
Totally.
Yeah.
Very good side game if you need to take a break from emotional damage.
That's good. Emotional damage, like the TikTok song.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. You should make that.
I should. There's another one that I found where it's like
a little past its sell-by date. But.
No, there's another one where it's like someone made a TikTok that was like every time I get to this like really sad part in a book, and you just close the book and like swirl your coffee. I'm gonna make that one for Xenoblade this week. Like you just swirl the ice in your coffee,
vigorously
like,
swirling,
looking out the window
as a
like,
coping mechanism. Just shaking that thing.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Oh no.
Good thing Chili was around. I had to hug her.
All right, we are OFK, but you are not OFK. That's the takeaway here. The last game we playing, and we made a video of this, Kirby's Dream Buffet.
Yes.
So please watch us play this game.
Yes,
it was
fun.
I was very pleasantly surprised by this.
I was saying that when I played with random people, it was not fun. But then when I played with you, it was really fun.
I don't get why though.
I don't know. It was like I was bad. They were too good. That's why.
My concern going into this was the amount of content.
Yeah, pretty basic.
Which it seems like there's just like a handful of game types.
Yeah.
But I didn't get tired of it.
It's quick paced.
That was really the thing it's like there is no downtime in between these. Like there were a lot of times where I was like, oh, there's gonna be a loading screen here, and I like looked away. I was
like, the game is going.
Oh, the thing's going, and I'm
playing.
behind. So you don't even have a moment to even for your brain to register. Like, oh, I'm getting tired of this.
Right.
It just keeps going until you're done with the thing.
You're just rolling around forever. Yeah. I mean, it's very basic, but it's not like basic in a bad way. It's just like this is what this game is, and like it's fun for what it is, you know.
Yeah, and it's $15, so it's hard to be upset at that.
Yeah,
but I was telling you this, like if this game came out in the GameCube era, you would absolutely be paying $50 for it for this same amount of content.
Kirby.
So this is where it's nice that we have these options today.
Exactly. Yeah. It was really fun, and I know we were like paired up against like bots or whatever.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
Did you?
I didn't know until someone told me in a comment.
Is it true though?
I think so. They were like really bad. I think that's why I don't like that. Good.
If you have a fake bot, don't give them a real person's name.
It was like Mage's sister. I was like, that could be someone's username.
I don't like that.
I think the people online that I played against were too good.
But you beat me 2 times out of 3. You were the big Kirby.
I was a fat
Kirby. The chunky
so
Kirby.
chunky. I broke the scale.
All the food in this game looks so good.
Except for the mayonnaise sandwich.
The next morning, after we played that game, I had a waffle.
You did?
Yes.
You were thinking about it?
I think subliminally. I didn't realize it until afterwards.
Oh. Yeah. I went and bought it.
And then the video went live. It was like 11 o'clock, and then the video went live. Like, I'm eating a waffle right now.
Subliminal waffle eating.
Something happened.
I did buy like a basket of strawberries the next day.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, those look good.
The food looks so good.
Yeah, the strawberries looked appetizing.
What does Nintendo do better, water or food? I don't know.
I don't know either.
They've like perfected
How are they
the
doing
graphics
this on
on
a
these
fax
two
machine,
things.
though?
I don't know.
How are they doing that? This makes me want to go to the Kirby Cafe for realsies.
Oh, yeah.
I think Dale North went there.
Yeah.
I was really jealous. That would be fun.
It looks good.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah. So I see some people wondering, like, are they going to add content to this?
Probably not.
I mean, I would understand if they don't. It's just kind of, get in, get out kind of
it's like,
side game.
Again, it's like one of those things where it is what it is.
If anybody remembers, I did, in a much earlier episode, I did kind of gripe about, like, there's too many side games for Kirby, and they all kind of blend together. I don't feel that way about this one.
This one's pretty distinctive.
This one feels different enough.
Yeah. It's also like it focuses on like one mechanic, which is the rolling.
Right.
And I think that just makes it like feel contained.
Which is different from a normal
like a
Kirby
copy
game.
Ability. There's still a little bit of the copy ability nonsense in there, which is fine. But it just feels like it's contained to this very like specific thing.
Right.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Those are the games.
News?
On
this
to
is not
the
so fun
news.
now.
From Kirby's Dream Buffet to something less whimsical.
Yeah, exactly.
So this first story is one that we just missed. When did this come out? Like last Tuesday or
Wednesday.
something? It's like right around the time the podcast, like or shortly after we had recorded.
And then of course our Patreon community were like, haha,
oh no, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and they were like, well, let's do the next one.
But this was a big story from Kotaku, and this kind of just felt like the next domino in this wave of stories of Nintendo's labor relations.
There's now 2 complaints on that happened, and then now we have this even more serious.
The headline for this one was NOA testers faced years of sexual harassment.
Oh gosh.
And it's a very long and detailed story, so I think it's a good read for anybody.
Definitely read it.
I just kind of wrote down kind of the
notes,
the short notes of it.
Yeah.
So, there were situations where again contractors were kind of at the center of this as well, and that kind of push and pull between full-time employees and contractors. There were talk of contractors being preyed upon by the full-time employees.
Yeah.
Women contractors, just not being able to be converted to full-time like their male counterparts were.
Or having something held over them by male, people in leadership that made them feel like they had to do certain things to be able to get converted.
Right. No clear metrics for conversion. It was just kind of like, when you're ready, you're ready.
Yeah. Yep.
There were specific allegations of misconduct by people who were called out by name.
Yep.
Who were names that we recognized, which was an experience.
That was something.
There was a letter apparently submitted by women testers to management about these unsafe work conditions. But, kind of the core is like a lot of people stay with the company because they love it and they put up with these awful things.
That's the thing that
because
gets
of
me.
that.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
the thing that really gets me.
And then finally there was kind of, an addendum later in the week where, Doug Bowser did put out a note that said they're actively investigating, which they should. But, these notes just get leaked now, which is kind of,
Yeah, it's like the MO now. Of course it's going to get leaked.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely will.
So, but we shall see if anything happens.
Yeah, that's the big thing is like, how many of these things need to come out before something happens? And we said this before about the initial story around this mistreatment of contractors. It's like, hopefully when these awful things are brought to light, it really like slaps the company in the face and wakes them up to like really look deeply at these issues and like do something, because I think it's like really like at the root of some at the root of the company, which is a little bit like scary to think about.
Right. And I think, I hope the company's approach to this is not the same as its approach to dealing with, problems with its products, which is unfortunately just kind of ignore it and hope it goes away.
Sweep under the rug kind of thing.
It's like, oh, people want Daisy and Mario Strikers. It's like, well, if we wait long enough, they'll stop talking and then we'll just assume that there's no problem.
Exactly.
And you just have to wonder, like, is that just
the mentality?
Is that just the mentality of like, eventually people will just, the learned helplessness is the psychological term.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they just like, well, I can't do anything, so I'll just stop complaining. And then everybody's like, oh, great job by us. Pat on the back. We solved it.
We solved it by like silencing them until they stopped talking.
Now,
yes,
I am tired of these stories because, believe it or not, I still have a lot of love for Nintendo and the people there. I have 4 points.
Oh, 4 points.
If I was the big boss, 4 things I would do immediately.
Okay.
To, again, not, you can't solve an issue like this overnight.
Yeah.
But to get things headed
in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
The first is something that we have talked about before, and I think is at the root of a lot of these problems. Mandatory management training.
Yeah.
For not only new managers, but that gets done like yearly.
Yeah. Like existing managers and training that is done like on a regular basis.
Right.
Because it's not a skill that everyone just has.
Right.
Like you being able to manage the career and ultimately sometimes like a big part of someone's life is not like a skill that you're just like born with, you know? So yeah, totally.
That's unfortunately not something that happens consistently. I think occasionally there's, there's opportunities that are available, but I'm thinking of like a 2-day thing where it's like, drop everything. You are really getting immersed in what your new top responsibility.
Yeah, which is like to help the people that are that are reporting into you.
Right. Because again, it's sort of an indirect thing here, but not having strong people managers is one of the ways that these bad acts keep happening.
And I think what happens too is because you don't have these people managers with skills to deal with these issues, they're just like helpless.
Right.
Like when you tell your manager like, hey, I'm having a problem, they're not equipped with the correct skill set to help you solve it.
Right.
Like how does that gonna resolve itself? It's not.
Right.
You're just gonna be like, well, I don't know what else I'm gonna do. So it's really it's interesting that this is not like part of corporate culture. But it isn't. Yeah, unfortunately.
Right. Number 2, full review of Nintendo's contractor policies.
Yeah.
Because this
I wonder when the last time they did this
seems to be broken in a bad way. Because you hear about people like, well, I've just been renewed for 10 years now, and that's just basically what I'm going to be. Yeah. And, there's sort of some loopholes in the system where you can keep bringing people back on these contracts where they're on, they're technically working for another company, which is like the agency that does this stuff. And, there's certain degrees of benefits that contractors get. And again, this is at any company, not Nintendo. But the company seems far too reliant on these contractors. Yeah. And there's no reason why you can't make a change here. It's a difference between I can't do something,
and I don't want to.
And I don't want to do something.
I want to like bury my head in the sand.
A company like Nintendo that is making money hand over fist can pay full-time employees.
Because of the contractors that are like holding it up.
Right.
It's like, it's so broken and so like unfortunate that that's the way that they treat this really important segment of their business.
Right. And that was unfortunately really one of the non-starter conversations that we would ever have, which like, oh, maybe we could add somebody to the team. It was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Don't even ever think of
don't
even think
again.
it's like saying success.
It was like, don't talk about that.
So it's like, at some point, this company is growing. It's doing more and more stuff. It's doing having responsibilities that didn't exist before with the way the company is growing and how it's expanding. You need people to do the job.
Yeah. But you need to treat those people fairly.
Exactly.
And give them, like, treat them like human beings.
Right.
And, like, be a good employer.
Right.
And give them the opportunities that they deserve.
So, I think, it sounds like, this company that Nintendo's been working with, they're certainly not doing a good job.
No, they have a level of responsibility as well.
I think things like having, a real cap on how long someone can be a contractor, these are the types, just very common sense.
It's like very basic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next. And this is, specific to this story, but the review of the QA working conditions.
Yeah.
So at Nintendo, they're in a different building.
They're in a
and I think a lot of it is out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And did you ever go over there?
No, I wasn't allowed to go over there.
I went there once, like when I was first hired, and it was like, well, we're doing a tour of all the facilities, and you can see.
But it was like very brief if you walked by.
Right.
It wasn't like you were like meeting people in there.
No, but it's not like you would have to have a reason to go there.
And also, they were working on confidential products in there, so they would use that as a thing to say, like, don't ever go over there. Right.
But I mean, these reports talk about how, the working conditions sound very different to what you and I experienced in the, quote, main offices.
Yeah. And they would go out of their way to segregate them, which was really bad, I thought.
And again, that does happen at a lot. Like when I worked at Bandai Namco, there was one side of the building that was for like the corporate staff, and there was one other side of the building that was for the QA. And it was kind of implied like those people don't come over here.
Yeah, that's mean.
Which is
it's terrible.
And that's really like the drama I've been banging is like QA is so important and deserves so much respect and are part of the development process that to just like
throw them away and
treat them in such a poor way is like what. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. It doesn't take a lot to just treat them equally.
Right. Right.
They're not asking for anything extra.
Exactly. Just make sure that it is of the same standard as everybody
your normal
else
employees.
At the company. So that's just really sad.
Yeah.
And then the final, I mean, I'm sure the company would say that they have this, but a true zero tolerance harassment policy where it's like we will swiftly investigate and deal with all complaints because that seems to be the issue is like the complaint is made and it just gets filed away somewhere or like what happens from there.
And I have heard this happening, not even like beyond the stories shared here in the contractor side.
There are stories out there if you care to look.
Yeah. That's, for full-time employees too.
Right.
This happens. And there has been other examples of when a complaint has been filed or someone has gone to their manager with a very specific, some sort of issue that they're dealing with that it feels like they're not getting sort of the reaction or the support from the company of how like serious these things are and how they should be taken seriously.
And the thing that stinks is, legally, in California at least, every company has to do this required harassment training.
Yeah.
Where you get told, like, well, if something happens, you report it up and, eventually you report it to HR and they will do their due diligence and something will happen. But it's like, those people are doing what they're supposed to do in reporting it up.
But then where is it getting stopped?
From there, there's some
where is it ending up?
Negligence happening where nothing happens.
Right, totally. The thing that that really relates to me is this last point on this little summary that you put about how people just stay at the company because they love Nintendo.
Right.
I feel like this part really like upsets me because it's like you have this really passionate workforce, of this really passionate employee base, and they're all there. We were all there, and we really like gave a lot of our our time and effort because we love Nintendo. We want to see the brand succeed. But then I kind of get the sense that like Nintendo, the corporation, knows this and uses it to your disadvantage and like takes advantage of you because they know that you would put up with more because you love the brand.
And that you could be easily replaced.
And that you could be, they hold it over you. They really do. And like, you feel it. And I can't imagine if I felt it as a full-time employee, like how these people felt as like a contractor where they already feel like their footing is very like on quicksand and they have to do they jump through all these crazy hoops for any shot of being converted or a shot of being promoted. Like that must be just like 100 times worse because I totally felt that. Like we were completely overworked because they were like, oh, they'll just take it. They won't complain because they love Nintendo too much to complain. And like if you won't do it, then 100 other people will be in line to do your job. So who cares? So like that part just sucks. And I hope that like don't take advantage of people that have genuine passion and can bring so much to this brand. Like, you should be so lucky, to have all of these employees that just like love the company so much, to give so much to the company. Like, give it back to them.
Right.
Like, they're hopefully like I don't know if that's going to change anything, but like it's like maybe like forever everybody would just love Nintendo so much and they'll just like put up with it. But it's like you shouldn't. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's like I think I've mentioned this before, but like over the years, I've really like changed my thinking on like people in like dream jobs because they were
the dream job conundrum.
Because there's a lot of people who came in and like, oh, Nintendo is my dream job, and they would leave within like a couple years and be like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But I just didn't really understand the degree of challenges that people had, or whether those were interpersonal of people they were working with, or just the challenge of the job they've been asked to do. That really goes beyond that. That was a good moment of introspection for me to realize that more than I did before. And
everybody has their own limits. You set your own limits, so everyone sort of you can take certain things and you can't take certain things. But I think the responsibility of Nintendo is to really recognize that and recognize, the passion in their employee base and not take advantage of it. And a lot of times I felt that was like the opposite. So I hope that, once again, the takeaway is like, let's hope that all of these terrible stories coming out will like just incentivize Nintendo to like, really look deeply and do something about it. Like, what else do you need to have people say to you to really like take this seriously?
I mean, frankly, we're upset by these stories. It shouldn't happen to people there. It shouldn't happen to people anywhere. So the company certainly has it within their means to fix these things. Right.
But they need to take it seriously.
Please get started.
Yes.
On to a happier story.
Yes, this is a good one.
The Pokemon Company, related to Nintendo, will be donating $25 million to charity over the next 5 years.
Yeah, they have been doing so much with just more charitable stuff.
Yeah, they have.
I feel like they have been very like forthcoming. Like whenever there's human rights issues, I just really appreciated their like transparency to like what Pokemon as a brand represents and how they're going to be in their way like helping or supporting those groups. And this is just another great example of that. Sounds like they're going to be donating to like Black Girl Code and some other really good organizations. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad to see that they're being more like forthcoming about what they're doing. These organizations. So
there can be the philosophy of like, oh well, you don't want to use charity as like a PR talking point.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's what they're doing.
I don't think so either. I think they're just they're really kind of being honest about what their brand represents, and I think that's a good thing.
Right. All right, this last story.
Oh yes, this one.
This is a bizarre one.
This is a very bizarre one.
Press release that went out like late at night. The Embracer Group get embraced
into the strong arms.
They made 8 acquisitions, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
For the hefty price of where are they getting this money is what I want to know.
I don't know.
$780 million they spent.
That's actually pretty good for 8 acquisitions.
Well,
though,
the
right?
big one here, kind of the cherry on top, IP rights to Lord of the Rings.
I know, that's so crazy.
And I really had to like read the fine print on this because I was
what
like,
does that mean exactly?
I was like, oh, they got the rights to make Lord of the Rings games, but no, they now own the entire IP rights. So they don't own the works, but they make the decisions of licensing out.
What's the license? Okay.
So like Amazon,
they have that new show.
is paying through the nose to make that new show.
Yeah.
So they can now decide like, oh, Amazon, you want to make more? You need to re-up and pay us X amount.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, oh, we want to focus on like these characters or these side stories.
Sure.
Which is...
That's a lot of control over a huge franchise. And
it looks like Embracer does have some non-gaming stuff as well. They do
Right.
have some like film rights, but this is by far...
Like the biggest thing.
The biggest and the most far-reaching, because this covers all IP licensing. Mm-hmm. So that's amazing. And it's like, well, why didn't Amazon just... If it's that much, I mean, that's like nothing.
That's like nothing. For 8?
Right.
So it wasn't even that amount for $780 million was not just for Lord of the Rings.
It boggles my mind.
What was I doing?
I don't know.
That would have been, if that was up for sale.
Wake up, Bezos.
Why would you sleep on that? I'll buy it.
Rise and grind.
I don't have $780 million.
Even though you're a bajillionaire, you can't lose that grind mindset.
That's right.
We've still got it.
Fam.
We're still hungry.
GM.
No pun coin. Make it happen. There was some other stuff in there that I was like, oh, that's a little bit smaller. Don't need to call it that by name. But one, limited run games.
Yeah.
Employ a good friend of ours, Jeremy Parrish.
Jeremy.
And I saw he
tweeted about it.
Some people were asking him like, "Oh, Jeremy, are you worried about this acquisition?" And he went on and on of like, "No, they're helping to make my dream position come true. Basically, I'm really happy with this. So glad to hear it."
That's exciting for him. Yeah. I'm sure there's good and bad for all of these kinds of acquisition type things. There's going to be like growing pains or whatever, but like I'm glad he's going to be okay.
And they acquired obviously all of the Eidos stuff, kind of all the Western Square Enix properties, and Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So they've really got quite the
profile,
quite the library, but they're not yet a house. Like if you ask somebody on the street, like, "Oh, you Embracer," they'd be like, "What do you mean?
That?
Get away from me! Don't Embracer me."
You don't have my consent to Embracer me. Yeah. We'll see.
How much would you sell this podcast to the Embracer Group for?
$780 million.
So why so
more than Lord of the Rings?
Why so low? $780 million and $1. It's like the Price is Right strategy. Yeah.
And you're over.
Yeah. So who knows who's going to get embraced next?
Yeah.
But before we get embraced, we're on to some questions.
Yes.
Wonderful questions from our Patreon community.
As always.
First is from Brooke Obscura, who wants to know, what is your favorite game for the original Game Boy, and do you think we will see Game Boy games come to Nintendo Switch Online?
Ooh. I think I bought the original Game Boy to play Pokemon.
Yeah. That was definitely
like
one of the first games that came to mind. It's not my answer, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to say Metroid, but that game came.
Oh, Metroid 2?
Yeah, Metroid 2.
I don't love the original Game Boy because
I feel like my nostalgia is making it feel better than it is.
First of all, it just wasn't very playable with we saw that when we did the Game Boy camera. It's just hard to see that screen.
It's hard to see the screen.
You need to have perfect conditions.
Right.
And then I think some of those games, like some of them start to edge up to like the Nintendo standard.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't.
Okay.
Like the original Super Mario Land.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of don't like that game very much.
That game was kind of funky.
It feels a little janky to me.
Yeah.
I was like, is this really...
Mario Land was okay.
They got it, like...
That one was actually pretty good.
Mario Land 2?
2, yeah.
Great. And there were definitely, good games, but on the whole, the library is just not
We need another Wario Land game.
It's time.
So
Pokemon, I think, is perfect because it was really made for the Game Boy.
Exactly.
And you can play it kind of at a slow pace, and it's not required to
like look at it like
doing intense
platforming
action
or whatever. Yeah.
Donkey Kong 94. is my answer.
Oh, I don't think I've ever played that game.
Really good game where they took just like the Donkey Kong arcade formula, but they modernized it, and you have all these different moves.
Okay.
And it's very puzzle based, getting through these stages. I would love to see a re-release of that, or even a new Donkey Kong 22.
Oh, Donkey Kong 22.
To make it happen. That's a long time ago.
Donkey Kong 23.
That's almost 30 years ago. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's time.
Donkey Kong. Will we see these games come to NSO?
Maybe.
I think we'll see some Game Boy family eventually. I don't know if it would be this.
Family Systems?
Again, I want them to get... I mean, this is my issue with some of these NES games. It's like they're really more like... they're like curiosities more
than like playable things nowadays.
Especially the really old NES games.
Yeah.
They're not as playable as some of the current...
I can't really get into this anymore.
Right. That's why I've actually been pretty pleased at them sticking with updating the N64 games.
The N64 stuff seems really good.
But that's still
play Wave Race?
Still very playable. Whereas this other stuff is... It's like you play it once, like, I remember this, but I don't really... I'm not having a great time.
Yeah.
So I put it away.
Yeah.
Bruce Dash coming in. Hey, Kit and Krysta, if Nintendo were to port their games to PC with better graphics and performance than the Switch, would that hurt the Switch in the long run, where people hold out on buying a Switch version of the game in favor of the PC version, since they know there may be a PC version later down the line? This is kind of the conundrum that Sony has, or has been going through with PlayStation, where they're finally putting games on PC, but a lot of times it's a pretty long wait.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man just came out.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like people have and play games on Switch for like a specific reason of being able to take it like handheld mode, right? I mean, I do. I do at least. So I guess for me, I would like I much rather have the flexibility of playing it handheld than having the better graphics on PC. But like if you were like totally just into the graphics and you want to play all your games like at home or whatever, like I could see how that would be an attractive option for you.
I think there's, not for everybody, but there's some distinction between the Switch audience and the PC audience,
right?
Where like some of the PC players are just like, I'm not playing a Switch.
Right,
I'm a PC player. I think this is actually a really good idea.
It's like pretty good idea.
I actually really like what Sony's been doing with this.
Yeah.
Because it helps them, again, they are very open to talking about how expensive these games are. And this is a good way for them to recoup that investment.
Yeah.
But they're putting it out, like, it's not cannibalizing. Anybody who wants it on PlayStation, they got it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But there still seems to be a lot of excitement when these come out on PC.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are like, I can't wait to finally play this game.
Right.
It's like, oh, you've waited this long. Okay, cool.
So I actually think it would be a really good idea, but, I mean, they're not going to do it.
First of all, I don't think they can. Like technically.
Oh no, they can, but it's like they would not
like. They're not gonna do it.
I mean, like the stuff where we've dressed up Tifa in all these outfits. Like, can you imagine? Like we made Bowsette. We put Bowsette in every, like it would be like so many just like cease and desist. Like,
oh no!
Fire up the C&D machine.
The mods, yeah.
Yeah, they like just for philosophical
and like IP control
reasons.
Purposes.
We can never do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
So
maybe
they
don't need the money.
Maybe one day they will.
Right
I don't know.
now, they don't need the money.
Frulio has an intriguing question. This has a visual, which people should look at. We'll describe it if you're on audio. Back in 2019. That wasn't that long ago. Nintendo made a tweet containing the words Odyssey and Sunshine.
Just passed by your desk.
Along with a photo of Mario eating watermelon on a beach. People speculated that Mario Odyssey would come with Isle Delfino DLC, and someone so far as to say that Mario Sunshine 2 was on the way. The following year, we saw the release of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which essentially brought Mario Sunshine to Switch. Were these posts created with the intention of getting the rumor mills running? Is this proof that Nintendo teases upcoming games through their tweets?
What is your answer? Head of Nintendo Social in 2019.
I can't take it.
Head of Nintendo Social. What is your answer?
Absolutely not. There's no teasing happening.
Not that smart. Are you kidding me?
First of all, we're not that smart. We're also afraid of
You're gonna get a 3-paragraph email.
Right. No.
Hot in the subject line.
I absolutely remember this. It was just like making reference to the Mario worlds.
Yes.
But obviously, people looked into it
And this is
a bit more
why
deeply.
we can't have nice things
Yeah.
like saying the word surprise.
Like a picture of Mario
Because you
sitting
do.
down
The people
eating
do
watermelon.
do it. They
Yeah.
do like
They do.
They do overthink it.
Yeah. Nobody internally, nobody got upset about this though.
No.
It was like, well,
Let the rumor mill fly. Or let the rumors fly.
No,
Yeah.
it was absolutely not meant to tease that. Nobody's teasing anything. That is not a strategy. Some companies might. Nintendo
does not do
absolutely
that.
not.
Can't even say the word surprise. Are you kidding me?
So
Are they
so
teasing
if you
anything? No.
ever think something is being teased, remember back to what I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
It is not.
Don't fall for
Right.
it. Don't get caught up. Don't get swept up.
But a good question.
Yes.
Yeah, reasonable question. Mad Dog 5981.
Uh-huh.
I know that Nintendo is part owner of the Seattle Mariners baseball team. Did you ever get to collaborate with the team on any kind of promotions? Did you get to meet players or get any kind of inside look into their operations? Did you at least get some free tickets to a game when you were up in Seattle for work? We did get a comment from someone
a perk.
from our video last week about perks of Nintendo who said, oh, you forgot all the Mariners stuff.
That's true.
Well, we weren't in Seattle.
We weren't in Seattle.
But that is a perk. Employees can get tickets
Yes.
to
You can
Mariners
get,
games.
and then I think there's a
like a box.
A box, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gone to one.
I haven't either, which is why we didn't mention it.
I didn't live there,
Yeah.
so it was harder for us to take advantage of that.
They did have. There was some system that used a DS where you could like order food. Do you remember
that's
this?
Right. Yeah, you can order food to your seat. That was right. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was like some sort of like promo thing where they had like the costume character, like Mario, out on the field for something.
There was a stretch of time where that came up a lot in brainstorms. Like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do something with the Mariners. But it was like
It was for Super Mario Sluggers.
people would explain like it's pretty hard to do something like that, so
Yeah.
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
And we kind of moved on.
Right.
Yeah. So true, there is some ownership there. Howard Lincoln.
Yes.
He is still, part of that organization. Howard Lincoln still has an office
He does.
at Nintendo.
Yeah.
And one time I was visiting there.
He was in it?
Oh, they were like, oh, you can sit there. And it said on the things like Howard Lincoln. I was like, this is a setup. Like he's going to come in like
be like,
5 minutes
"Get
later.
out."
Like, who are you? Get out of my office. I'm calling security. I was really like on it.
He wasn't there, was he?
No, but he comes.
He's nice.
Okay, I've never met him in person.
He's
I would
really
love to. He is truly a legend.
He's really nice. Nice man.
So yeah, there's a pretty clear line
Yeah.
between Nintendo and the Mariners, although
Right.
business-wise there's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Rogers!
Oh boy,
New
Mr.
superstar,
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. During the pandemic, I had applied and went through several rounds of interviews with NOA for a role in their licensing department. In speaking with the recruiter and department heads during the interview process, I was told that career advancement within NOA is difficult due to very low staff turnover, and when advancement positions did open, they would usually have, understandably, more tenured staff be considered first. Is there any truth to this assessment that you either witnessed or experienced? Oh, Mr. Rogers.
Good question.
First of all, very forthcoming by the recruiter.
Yeah.
More than I would expect.
Setting your expectations, I guess. I would say this is accurate. I think kind of going back to your point that you were making about the story about the contractors is that there's in my experience, advancement at Nintendo is very ambiguous. There's
Yes.
not a very clear list of criteria or a performance or project based.
More of a feeling
It's more
that
of
you need a lot of
feeling.
people to have at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like this thing where you do the things, you prove
Right.
you can manage certain levels of product
Right.
or whatever, or you have these things checked off your list, and then that means you can advance to the next level of your career or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not that simple. In my experience, it's very nebulous what the expectations are for someone to get promoted. I went through this personally myself. It was very challenging. And you basically, like you said, it's basically you have to get all of these leadership people on board through how do you feel about this person
Right.
as a manager? How do you feel about
Yeah.
this person getting a promotion? And they all just sit in a room and have to agree. And some people have no relationship with you.
Well, that's where it did get hard because, you know, I manage a bunch of people could say, okay, this person is ready. And then the person who you really need to say yes, who has no interaction because they're, you know, X
levels
degrees
above.
ahead would say, like, I don't know about that. And first of all, it's like, what are you basing this on?
Yeah.
You have no interaction.
Right.
Why don't you put a little more trust in me who works with this person on a daily basis?
Yeah.
So that was always a very stressful process.
It's very stressful. Yeah.
Because it could go haywire for no clear
and that's happened.
concrete reason.
Yeah,
So
and that has happened.
Like, no, don't think so. Not this year. Wait another year. We'll see.
There's also been times where the person that is like very removed from the person that's getting a promotion has like maybe like one bad interaction.
Oh, yeah.
Or one sort of
and that just gets hung
that
over
happened
them.
to me.
Yeah.
Like that exact situation happened to me. This person, I don't even know what happened. Like I didn't feel like I had a bad interaction with this person, but I must have done something, or like there was one thing that I said one time in a meeting that just like stuck in this person's mind, and for like the rest of my career, like this person could not let this go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't know what to do.
And that person was me.
And I'm still mad at you now.
I'll never move beyond that.
But yeah, it's like, well, I like literally did not know what to do. Like in that situation, I was like, I would meet with this person.
Right.
I would have like one-on-ones with this person to try to like mend this relationship. And it would be like walking on eggshells all the time. And like, it was really hard. And I would agree that career advancement at Nintendo was very, very challenging.
And then also to Mr. Rogers' point from the recruiter of, you know, it's a small company, so not only did the person really need to be, you know, beyond ready to be promoted, there needed to be the opportunity
like
for them
like
to move up. Because it's like, well, who's going to cover all this work if they move on? And a lot of times people would move on and they basically do two jobs.
Also happened to me.
But it's like, well, we absolutely have to move them ahead or they might leave.
Yeah.
But we have no plan to
Backfill
cover. Them. We can't hire anybody else.
Right.
God forbid. So
don't even bring up the contractors.
I mean, if we're gonna make a 4-point list into a 5-point list, maybe just tack that on.
Yeah.
For funsies.
Yeah, have some sort of like plan to backfill and make sure that your employees are set up for success. Yeah. Yeah. Again, that exact situation happened to me because when I started my career at Nintendo, I was an administrative assistant, and I had gotten promoted like very slowly, clawed my way up the corporate ladder, but nobody would backfill me. So like I was like an assistant manager still doing the 3 jobs that I had before. So it was not great, I will say.
And that same thing happened to me when I moved from PR to social media. There was like a year where it was like, well, you just have to do both. I was like, oh.
And then again to me when I was moving from the PR team to your team to do creator relations, and I literally was blocked from doing my new job because nobody could do my old job. It's like, what the heck? Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's not great. It's really, it's
very perceptive by Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Just like saying his name. But Rain Tech is next. Hecate and Krysta, the Nintendo Switch since day one, has had a design menu option in the settings. The list of available designs 5 years into the Switch lifecycle consists of a whopping 2 options, white and dark. Which are you?
White.
Oh, I'm dark. I like the night mode on everything.
I don't like it.
Was there ever any plans to add new designs? If not, why make it such a prominent option if they never had the desire to add more?
I feel like the Switch interface was very bare bones by design.
Well, I mean, coming off of the Wii U, which just felt bloated, like you can kind of read into like why the Switch is so like light.
Yes.
And it works. It's snappy.
It does snappy. Or it is snappy.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I do miss I was, again, hanging out and playing with my 3DS recently for that video. Yeah. But like, remember those cool backgrounds that we used to get? Like
those are cool, the themes.
The themes?
Yeah.
Like, I do kind of miss that.
But even like the 3DS boots up at the end of its life cycle was pretty slow to boot up. Whereas like Switch, even still to this day,
is pretty snappy.
So I wonder, is there some developer that's just like, we will not, these things are cool, but we won't be doing them.
At the expense of
because we are going to have a snappy experience.
Yeah.
I think that is the right decision. Some people might disagree.
Yeah.
Silver 6477. Which Nintendo division had the best office or the worst office? You can't pick Redwood City. Explain your answers, please and thank you.
Like what kind of off? Like just like in look and feel, or like
whatever you want.
Okay. Well, the worst one that looked bad was Redwood City, but I can't pick Redwood City.
In terms of how are you defining worst?
Oh, that it was just kind of like lame.
Bland?
Bland. Because it was an office park. We didn't own the building.
But it became a pretty good workplace later on.
Oh, I mean, so it's not looks.
Well, if that's how you're defining it, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
If we're talking about like in terms of office vibes and environment,
however you want.
I would say Redwood City's number 1.
Oh, wow.
Because we were great.
Because I worked there.
1. Yeah, it was really fun. Remember the pranks? The poopy chair? Number 1.
This office no longer exists. I guess many of them no longer exist. I like the New York office. So
Park Ave, yeah.
This was on Park Avenue. Genuinely like high-end real estate.
Really nice. Balcony too.
Had a really good, like, again, the rooftop parties. Had a very nice rooftop balcony. We had an event there for Metroid Other M.
It was really nice.
Where it's like, well, let's just wheel these interactives out and do it in like as the sun setting on Manhattan on Park Avenue.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was awesome. You felt like a baller.
It was a small office. It had a different, like, it was on the East Coast, so people came in late.
Yeah, to work the West Coast.
Yeah, there was no like rush to get in at 9 o'clock. It was people just kind of filter in whenever.
People go down to lunch a lot.
I don't know if you remember this. They had a coffee machine that I think was laced
with something bad.
Something.
It made your heart beat so fast.
Yeah. I was like, this is the strongest coffee I've ever had.
It makes you want to like jump out the window
I know.
in the New York office, which you did not like. Remember, I used to open the window.
You have a habit.
And I would like lean out the window.
Do we need to tell people about this? You have a habit of like looking out of windows or like looking over like from high objects. And I just want to like grab you and be like, stop it.
Why?
I don't know if it's like a gust of wind. You'd be gone. You don't know. Why are you doing that? Stop it.
But the New York office used to open all the way, and then you'd be like, "Why are you leaning out the window?"
Right, because it's like kind of an older building,
building, Yeah, that's funny.
But that was cool.
Yeah.
Worst office?
Worst office?
Well, I guess people didn't like the old Redmond office. I did.
I like the old Redmond office.
It had a nice homey log cabin feel.
It did. It was very cozy.
It was.
But it was pretty old.
It was a little rundown in some ways, but it had a good feel.
Yeah. This is a hot take, but I didn't really love the corporate Japan office. Not the new development building.
The older one.
But the older one. Mainly because I kept getting lost.
It is easy.
Like every single floor looked exactly the same.
And there's nobody in the halls.
There's nobody in the halls.
Just pure quiet.
And all the doors are closed because it's like...
You're going to get in trouble.
I know.
Hall monitor.
I know. I got lost so many times. I would be like, where am I? I would go to the bathroom and I'd not be able to find my way back. Be like really lost.
Yes, I don't know if there's a clear-cut worst office for me.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I don't know. Torcheeks asks, this question is something that's been on my mind since the retail release of Wave 1 of Smash Bros. Amiibo. Hoping you guys might have an answer. When Amiibo were first revealed and showcased at E3 2014, a lot of them were on display. All of Wave 1 and 2, I believe. They were all insane quality. When they began to release months later, however, the quality of them had dropped significantly, notable ones being Marth, Peach, and Link. Yes, we all remember Marth, poor face. With the infamous Peace stand.
The Peace stand.
What reason was there between such a massive downgrade in quality? Why initially advertise them in higher quality if they weren't to be sold as such? Also, bonus question if you happen to know whatever happened to the higher quality Amiibo display. Thanks. We know a bit about this.
Yeah, we do. We do. Well, go ahead.
Well, so the Amiibo that were at E3 were really prototypes. And we were told this, extremely fragile.
You do not understand the lock and key situation with these Amiibo. We were like, that was the infamous E3 where you had to hold up Mario and smile like a...
Counted 900 Mississippi.
Yeah, you were Mississippi-lessly counting to like whatever. With that dorky smile on your face. But the guy that had the Amiibo showed up with this like, it looked like the case that you put like $1 million
right.
in. I'm not kidding.
And he's wearing like white gloves.
And handcuffed.
Yeah.
It was handcuffed
it was ridiculous.
to his wrist. And he, oh my gosh, it was like...
So many lectures of like, this is so fragile. If you even touch this the wrong way, it will turn to dust.
Yeah. It's like,
so we were just like,
I was like, you hold. That's why I was like, I made you hold it because I didn't want to hold it.
So I think
it's like, too scared.
So I think the answer is the difference between, a one-of-a-kind prototype and like a production line situation.
Thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously the Amiibo now are much better, so they learned a lot along the way.
Yeah, but that first wave was bad.
But I think that's like those were probably like hand-painted, like done.
Oh yeah, they were like
painstaking
3D printed, whatever.
Versus, a factory.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think they also picked ones that were probably easier to make look nice. Like when you have like a really detailed human face, it is gonna probably look a lot worse than like Kirby, for example.
Yeah. What happened to those other Amiibo?
They're probably in like a safe somewhere. Or maybe he's still handcuffed to that guy's wrist.
For the rest of his life.
He's like sleeping with like a suitcase.
All right, who is Bowser's mom? This is an interesting question. Hello, Kit and Krysta. If someone purchased Super Mario World on the Wii, should they be able to access it free of charge on the 3DS, assuming they're using the same account?
Oh, wait, okay.
Going further, should they be able to access that particular game on Switch without requiring an NSO subscription? More broadly, if Nintendo respected and honored previous digital purchases across platforms, would this increase confidence and appetite for their digital marketplace? I know Nintendo's had some teething problems with regards to accounts, but that was not the consumer's fault.
Yeah, that is a complaint that we heard about. And I also like sometimes bristle at this.
This is a philosophical conundrum because I can see both sides of this.
Yeah, it's like, should you, in good conscience, make the consumer, your loyal fan, pay basically 6 times for the same game? Yeah, from a business perspective, I do think that there is like porting games over to a new system, it might not be a lot of work, but there's still a little bit of work and a little bit of something involved where you need to maybe spend some cost to do it. So I can see
more than on an iPhone. If you have an app that just gets updated a million times, that's free.
So. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know the development cost behind something like this.
Again, I think
but I imagine there is some.
I think they just decided early on of like, well, this is the path we're going down. People are just going to have to buy it again.
Deal with it, yeah.
And I'm sure they thought about the other path, but just said no. I do wonder, though, like, is this kind of solved now with NSO where it's all just subscription?
Yeah.
So ownership is not really
the
a
question
thing. And it's just like, as long as you have this NSO sub, then you can get the stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes it cleaner. Obviously, they need to keep adding to that library.
And also, if they have a new system, that NSO part of it needs to be ported over.
From day one.
Yeah.
Like, that would really be annoying if, like, when the Switch U comes out.
Switch U.
And it's like, oh, you'll be able to play all your NSO games in 2 years.
Yeah.
When we finally get around to it. That would stink.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
If you were paying the subscription and oh my gosh, that would be terrible. Hopefully they don't do that.
So that's
and
it is true that Who is Bowser's Mom makes a good point about the account system has been overhauled
so many
times. Remember there was like NNIDs and I can't even keep track of how many different
there's so many different
variations.
Ones.
So I don't know if there was a technical reason why they couldn't do that, but now they have NSO. Now they've got these subscriptions.
Now they have no more excuses because they have basically been tooting the NSO horn and making people subscribe to this thing for 2 years now?
Right.
So now you can't go back on this.
Yeah.
You've gotten people on board. Now you can't go back.
So we'll see what happens next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Zeroid, or Zeroid, I'm not sure which one. What are your favorite multimedia spin-offs of a video game property? That could be TV, movies, books, board games, etc. I was a big fan of the Sonic cartoons as a kid, even though I was never that into the games. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
I also became very invested in the Mass Effect lore at one point and read a couple of the spin-off novels. They weren't bad. Against my better judgment, I'm hopeful that the Mario movie will turn out well. Fingers crossed. Well, so are we.
Yeah, so are we. We definitely hope so. So here's something that's topical that I was thinking about this morning. We were both watching House of Dragons on HBO last night.
Yeah.
And they had a trailer that showed Last of Us in the very beginning. I think people were tweeting some of the new scenes.
I fast-forwarded through that.
It was like for like a second.
Yeah.
But I was reminded that this was a game that I skipped. This is a whole series that I skipped because I was like, I don't. At the time when those games were coming out, I just wasn't like interested in playing something so dark, and it just seemed sad, and I didn't think I could take it emotionally. But I am kind of interested about this HBO show.
Is that your answer though?
Yeah.
This thing that hasn't come out?
Yeah.
We don't know if it's good or not?
I don't know if it's good or not.
A 3-second trailer is your answer?
I'm gonna I might not play the game still, but I might watch the show. Like, I'm kind of intrigued.
It's kind of a non-answer, but fine. Good thing I have 2 answers. The first may seem obvious, but I have sort of an indirect path into it. First was the Pokemon TV show.
Okay.
Iconic. So I actually did not watch that when it first came out.
Yeah.
I just missed it. But the last couple years, now that it's on streaming, I've been catching up on it.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's all right.
Like, if you think of like what it could have been and like how bad some like kids shows were back then.
Yeah.
Like,
it's fine.
It definitely, hooks into the game. It goes beyond the game of building out the world and introducing all these characters. True. All the different seasons kind of reflect the new region that they're in and all the new Pokemon. Yeah. I think it's a great achievement.
Yeah. And they've kept it up too.
Right. So like they just announced we're doing one that's set in the world of Pokemon Legends, Arceus. I'm pretty excited to see that.
Cool. That would be a cool world to see them do that.
I think that's just like the Hall of Fame answer for this.
Did you like Detective Pikachu?
The movie? I did, but again, I felt like it was kind of a half measure where they were feeling out could we do a Pokemon movie? So we're going to have this gimmick where they're coexisting and they can talk and we can have Ryan Reynolds be Pikachu and all that. So I liked it. I didn't love it. I mean, if they make a full-on Pokemon movie,
I liked it.
That's what I want.
I thought Pikachu was cute.
Yeah, it definitely was. It had Machamp, everything I could ask for. Yeah. My other answer is The Witcher TV show.
Oh, that's a good one.
Season 2 was not as good as season 1.
That's another one where I never played the game, but I like the TV show.
Well, you still haven't played the game.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So...
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You should play that game. That's pretty good.
I should play that game. It's in the backlog.
Yeah, I knew kind of nothing about The Witcher, but I just heard, the word of mouth, the WOM, about the TV show. I was like, I'll check this out. And, it was the same sort of thing where they introduce you to the world and they kind of ease you into the lore.
Yeah, exactly.
And the characters are really good.
And Henry Cavill's extremely hot.
Cavill's buff. But,
so hot.
But also, he talks about how he has so much passion for that character in that world, and he really
is a true fan.
I like this. This may be blasphemous. I like his depiction of Geralt more than the one in the game. Maybe just because I saw that first, and that was the one that I associated with.
To you,
the true Witcher heads may not like that, but that's how I feel about it.
But he's the perfect cast for that.
I've played Witcher 3 all the way through. I've bought some of the Witcher books. I've bought some of the other stuff, and I'm just this is
now you're
this is
in
great.
on this franchise.
Yeah, so that's just a day one thing for me now.
Yeah, for sure.
So
when is his next season coming out?
I don't know.
That second season was good, really good.
I like season 1 better, but yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I like season 2. Season 1 was really good too, but season 2 was
I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah. Well. We've reached that time.
Yes. For the super stars. Are you going to start or should I start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Count you down. 3, 2, 1. Aaron Hash.
Dan L.
From Raul with love.
Jordan Collette.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Mr. Rogers.
Paul Gale Network.
Rain Tech.
Roy Eschke.
Simon Barrera.
Switching it up _
The Shark Among Men.
And VGM Life. Yay! All right. One Up Club graduation ceremony.
That's what this is.
I will start.
Okay.
A. Ron Burgundy.
Adam Edwards.
Ajahn Malari.
Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt.
Angela Bycroft.
Bagel.
Ben Eichhorn.
Bettina Tsane.
Book 'em, Dano.
Brad, SF56.
Bruce Dash.
Candace Roper.
Chancellor Fairley.
Christopher Lay.
Cozy Tar.
Captain Cinnamon Buns.
Captain Alex.
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund.
Doodoo Face.
Douglas Chomix.
Duca T-Stab.
Dustin E.
Dino Punch.
Eigenverse.
Elite Peach.
Espars 50.
Ezrato.
Fairbound.
Fred Rossi.
Gar.
Garrett Hallfish.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Shea.
Israel or Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jabroni Jones.
Oh,
I took the comment
you
out.
did it. Jackie Z.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jesse Hernandez.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hammerly.
Joseph DeHaze.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Just Cantro.
Kai Commercio.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin.
Kevin Delane.
Kitterati Dance With Me.
K Madman TV.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kritzer.
Kyle LaBouffe.
Kyler Nelson.
Linnell Stickman.
Lego My Froggo.
Link. You can say the last part.
Krista Roddy. Lit. Sorry.
Lucas Pico.
Luis.
Malfering.
Mamu.
Marcelo.
Marky Man 64.
Maru Mayhem.
Matthew Rewalt.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Michael Mazer.
Mikey.
Murph.
My Tran.
Nasir.
Nodnarb.
Panda Buns.
Patreon user.
Piano Psychopath.
Prince Charmless.
PS Wee.
Raver.
Rad State of Mind.
Ray Chiron.
Ray Clausen.
Ryuji Utsuho Oku.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rox.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Rianetta.
Sam Nealon.
Safazon.
Shinryu.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Thomas Alvarez.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Roddy Geistopian.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zudasverf.
And Zen. I'm really glad I got to say Jabroni Jones this week.
Jabroni Jones.
I like it.
I like Schmiggles.
Schmiggles.
Schmiggles. Awesome. We have reached the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon. It is patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. Thank you so much for all of our Patreon family that are already there. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to follow us on our other social channels. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I was like, what's the last one?
Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this episode.
And thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. We have all of those codes for you in the description box, so check it out. All right.
That is it.
I think that is it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment as well. Hit it.
Now that is it.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.